Next up is chapter 134. No chapters are missing, there was just a mislabeling by the author. Everything is in order, so enjoy the story. Chapter 134. Duel Competition Venue. The auditorium today was already packed. There were not many people in the contestants' seats. The former is a Crow effect. Countless people heard his name and performance. Then they all felt that they were coming here. The latter, some people were simply eliminated. A large number of people have been eliminated. There were only 6 people left. This means the final to decide the championship will also begin today. Although many people were eliminated, but the protagonist Ja of this youth group is naturally among these 6 people. There were 2 young men left who were overly strong, and 2 girls fighting for eyebrow pencil. Among them was the charming woman. Last one. It's Crow. It's really a huge crowd today. I think our players will also give us a wonderful duel. Today's game will be the finals of the youth group. The 6 people in the field are all strong ones selected after dozens of rounds of selection. The champion of the duel competition will be born among these 6 people. You can. The host has never seen so many people since he took office. I was so excited that I couldn't help myself. It obviously only requires 2 sentences. Instead he launched into a tirade. However, he still has some hosting skills. From time to time, it can arouse cheers and expectations from the audience. This kind of shouting made him feel intoxicated. The tone of his speech became more and more excited. This guy is pretty good, but he is too verbose. I think you should teach him a lesson. The audience is here to watch the game, not to listen to his long speeches. Oh Professor Flitwick, I think you should forgive him. In fact, since he joined the job, he has not seen many viewers. Although he is a host, in fact, he has always been able to say a few words. Flitwick heard this. It was immediately clear that the man was so excited. The reason why I even want to cry. If it is yourself. The subjects taught only have students in 2s and 3s. These students came to his class. Or just to kill time. This keeps going on. Anyone can feel devastated. But suddenly one day, your classroom is full of students. They are not here to kill time. But I came to listen to your lecture. Learn from you. That's how you feel. What a thrill that would be. I'm afraid you can't even speak clearly, right? Well, maybe you're right, I shouldn't feel that way. But that kid Crow didn't disappoint us. He really succeeded. This is just the first step for Flivy, this is just the first step. But being able to take this step is not far from 770's success. The rest is to see his performance. I think after today, his name along with the duel competition will surely sweep the entire wizarding mind. I think so too. Crowell's name, and the duel tournament, will once again be in the headlines of the Daily Prophet. They will be famous again. The 2 looked at each other and smiled. There was excitement on the old face. They wait for this moment. It's really been a long wait. Soon they will despair. I even thought about giving up. But they have seen the glory of the duel competition. I also loved dueling competitions. He even participated in a duel competition. And also achieved remarkable results. Now the duel competition they loved has become like this. How could they not feel sad? Why don't you want to change him back to the way he was before? It's a pity that their abilities are limited after all. Plus the Ministry of Magic doesn't care. They have no choice. Until Crow showed up. They saw hope in Crow. I see hope that the duel competition can be restored to its original state. And Crow didn't disappoint. He proved it with his actions. He can bring the rotten duel tournament back to life. A strong feeling of gratitude is detected. Get reward, diamond treasure box. Detected rich, diamond treasure chest. The emotion of gratitude? Crow raised an eyebrow. You don't need to guess to know who contributed the treasure chest. There was just one thing he was curious about. Professor Flitwick was clearly alone. How can I contribute 2 gratitude chests? And the other one is also a diamond-level treasure chest. This shows the status of the other party. And the strength is not low. But why doesn't he remember seeing it? Crow frowned in confusion. I pondered who was the other person who contributed the diamond treasure chest. Hey, Crow, right? My name is Shafik, from the pureblood Shafik family. Of course, you can just call me J, in fact all my friends call me that. While Crow was deep in thought, A voice woke him up. I looked up and saw the protagonist of the youth group who pulled his pants yesterday. The original designated champion. Joe was looking at himself with a smile on his face. At the same time, he stretched out his hand to shake his hand. Just this smile. It seemed like he was thinking of something bad. Crow trembled with fear. He jumped up from the chair in a swish. As soon as he stood still, he took out the Elder Wand. J. Point directly at J. His eyes were extremely alert. I don't think I know you, I'm not your friend, and I don't want to be your friend. And I don't like others to get close to me, so please return to your original position. Joe was stunned when he heard this. The smile on his face also stiffened. Show Crow what it means to be sunny and cloudy. It became cloudy and turned to severe thunder showers in an instant. Hey, man, I guess you don't need to be so nervous, right? I didn't do anything, and I don't have any ill will towards you. I'm just here to make friends with you and talk about some things by the way. 17 You should also be a student at Hogwarts, right? Didn't Professor McGonagall teach you? The wand can only point at your enemies, not your friends. Well, although we are not friends yet, we are not enemies either. Isn't it? Just spread his hands. He suppressed the anger in his heart and spoke to Crow. Are you kidding me? Just a brat with some reputation. How dare you treat him like this? If not, use Crow. He had already taught Crow a lesson with the curse. Of course. He was talking about the two hired thugs. Use the magic spell to teach Crow a lesson. As for himself? Well, let's forget it. If he has that strength, I won't be standing here anymore. No need to endure it anymore. I said, I don't want to be friends with you. In fact, you don't have to be angry. I have never had any friends. I am used to being lonely, so I don't like to be close to others. So I am not targeting you. Crow didn't put away his wand. Instead, he shook his head with a pity look on his face. Pretending to be sad, he explained to Jay, the lowered eyebrows were full of light. There was also a wicked smile on the corner of his mouth. I don't know the direct lineage of the pureblood family. What level of treasure chest can you contribute to yourself? It's really something to look forward to. Especially when he later revealed that Jay had hired a dark wizard. The intention is to rely on those two dark wizards to become dual champions. I imagine he would be very angry. Not to mention a king's treasure chest. Diamonds should have some chance, right? So you still have such a reward? But it doesn't matter. I can understand you. Geniuses are always lonely. In fact, like you, I also came from loneliness, because I am the same genius as you. They are all jealous of our talent and our strength. That's why they exclude us. Because of this, we should become friends. I think we will have many topics in common. Joe waved his hands excitedly. Open your arms. Act like you think you are handsome and sincere. Looking at Crow expectantly. I think it's better to forget it. It's true that I don't have many friends, but I'm talking about male friends. I don't have a girlfriend. In fact, I have quite a few girlfriends, and I don't lack love. How about you go and play third with me yesterday? That person at the scene. I heard him say that he has admired you for a long time, even to the point of madness. I think you two will get along very well. You lack love, but he is loved by you. It's a great combination, isn't it? The corners of Crow's mouth twitched a few times. The top of the Elder Wand was already glowing with dark green light. That's not some fluorescent glow. But simply eating a big melon. He is absolutely certain. If Jay dares to take another step forward. He released Kendigwa without hesitation. It's not that he is cruel. It is really. This world is too dangerous. The culture of a corrupt country. It has penetrated the entire wizarding world. Just yesterday. In the few games he played. There were two whole men. Expressed love for him. He was almost scared to death. In return for being scared. One of the two was seriously injured and is still awake. I guess I will be in a vegetative state for the rest of my life. There's another one that's slightly better. All the bones in the body were broken. But the consciousness is clear. You should probably, not die for the time being, right? Someone he recommended to Jay. This is also the man with all the bones in his body broken. What cruelty! Are you kidding? He wished that those two people wanted to kill him. He even hates himself to the core. I definitely don't want to be remembered by them. That would be too scary. And he has held back. Otherwise, those two guys would have been gnawed through the big melon and reached the sieve. This is why. He told the girls yesterday why he regretted it. If I had known earlier that I would be subjected to such inhumane torture, then he would rather not learn those spells from Flitwick. Even if necessary. He could also hand over the spells he knew to Flitwick. I just want a happy relief. I think you misunderstood me. Forget it, let's get down to business. You should know who I am, so I won't tell you. The champion of the youth group of the duel competition definitely win. Please make a condition. How can you lose to me and give me this championship? Let me explain in advance, it's not that I can't beat you, I just don't want to duel with a little kid. Jia shook his head sadly. Then he crossed his arms with a proud look on his face. He spoke to Crow proudly. Detected a strong emotion of pity. Get reward, gold treasure chest. At this point Crow no longer cares about what treasure chests pop up. Because he was about to vomit. Look at Jir's posture. He felt like his whole life. I'm afraid I can't even face the word Sundara. You have to change Cassandra quickly when you get back. Otherwise he will definitely vomit. Crow closed his eyes. Veins popped out in the hand holding the Elder Wand. The dark green fluorescence at the top of the wand is also extremely dazzling. Avada Kedavra is a narrative agent. Always ready to beat Jia into a sieve. However, he suppressed the urge. There are so many people now. Doing so will definitely cause some unnecessary trouble. I promised Professor Flitwick. We must help him bring the duel competition back to glory. Not because of this rat shit. A pot of porridge was ruined. Wait until you get on the stage. Teach him a lesson. Definitely let him die. Even worse than the two people in front. 10 times 100 times worse. Keep persuading yourself in your mind for a while. Crow barely managed to hold down a handful of food and gnawed on the big melon. The thought of sending Jia to hell to eat a giant melon. Mr. Shafik, since you asked me to make conditions, then I won't be polite. You can ask for it, but I am the eldest son of the Shafik family. As long as you don't open your mouth like a lion, I can satisfy you. Jirla patted his chest confidently. At this point he has decided. The championship of the youth group is mine. After all, he is his only opponent. It's just Crow. I thought he was a big problem. The big trouble of not getting enough oil and salt. But now it seems. It's completely because I'm overthinking it. Sure enough, as long as you have power and money, everything must get out of the way. No matter how strong you are, what's the use? Do you still have to succumb to the temptation of interests? Jir's heart was full of ridicule at this time. The look he looked at Crow also turned disdainful. If you can do anything, then I won't be polite. I'm not a greedy person. I don't want much, I just want the champion of the youth group in the duel competition. Of course I didn't ask. What do you want? The championship of the youth group? What do I want? Are you kidding me? Looking at Jir's frightened and angry eyes, Crow chuckled and shook his head. You yourself asked me to speak casually, but you couldn't do it even though I spoke. It seems that the eldest son of the Shafik family is nothing more than that. I don't like talking to dishonest people. You can have they gone. Jir's face turned blue and purple. The anger in his eyes was about to solidify. Just when he wanted to question Crow, the host on the other side spoke at length. Finally ended his tirade. With red eyes he announced the start of the game. The 6-3 competition is about to begin. All contestants, please go to the draw. Repeat, 6-3. The host's urging voice. Putting GER into a dilemma. One side is questioning Crow. But according to Crow's indifferent appearance, I guess waffling for a long time will have no effect. But let him go straight to the drawing of lots. He felt aggrieved again. Just as he finished struggling, when he raised his head and wanted to say some harsh words to Crow. But they found that Crow had already gone to draw lots. This made him almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. I feel depressed in my heart. A pair of bloodshot eyes, staring at Crow's short back. I wish I could skin him and cramp him. Skinned alive. Strong hatred detected. Get reward, diamond treasure box. Crow, who was drawing lots, heard the prompt. The corners of his mouth raised slightly. There was no pause in the movements of his hands. After opening the note and looking at the event and number on it, he couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth slightly. Is number 6 still the 6th game? 6 or 6, it looks like I'm very lucky today. I just don't know if my opponent is lucky or not. I guess meeting me is an extremely lucky thing, right? Crow handed the note in his hand to the staff. Then he looked at the charming woman playfully. If he guessed correctly. This is your opponent? Why so sure? Well, if only she weren't so excited. He didn't look like he wanted to shout out that he was Crow's opponent. Probably not so sure. Crow shook his head helplessly. Is this woman afraid she's crazy? For a rubbish eyebrow pencil. He actually made it to the finals. If he hadn't inquired with a few women yesterday. If you know that the trash is indeed trash. Maybe you really believe that thing is a good thing. I finally got Crow, I can finally get my brow. The charming woman burst into tears with excitement. Detected strong excitement and excitement. Obtain a treasure chest, a golden treasure chest. Intense, detected. Chapter 135. Actually, is that eyebrow pencil really useful? Is it worth your efforts? Don't you know that hard work may not necessarily pay off? Crow looked helplessly at the charming woman opposite. Just this time. There was some complexity in his eyes. Not that I appreciate this woman much. But he hasn't seen it. Someone who can work so hard for just one eyebrow pencil. And don't know why. Why is she so sure that she can win? Didn't she watch the previous battles? Otherwise, why can you be so confident? Or, she is very powerful? Can self-confidence defeat yourself? Crow rubbed his chin. He looked at the charming woman strangely. Look at the way she holds her wand. And the look of excitement. Crow silently dismissed the last guess. If only this was a strong person. Then he doesn't need to practice magic anymore. Just find a place to lie down and wait to die. It's not that he judges people by their appearance. Really, this woman doesn't care about the way she holds the wand. Even the standing posture is full of loopholes. He doesn't look like a strong man at all. Even some ordinary wizards can do better than her. That eyebrow pencil is a rubbish eyebrow pencil. I've worked hard for so long, but I still can't afford it. But it's not their fault, it's just my fault that I didn't work hard enough. As for whether it is easy to use, can such an expensive eyebrow pencil not be easy to use? Little brother, if you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. As for whether hard work will pay off? Well, at least I will see the reward soon. Yes, isn't it? The charming woman patted her chest confidently. As if eating crow is no match for him. And that precious eyebrow pencil. It is bound to be in his own hands. The corners of Crow's mouth twitched a few times. He rubbed his forehead speechlessly. What kind of worldview is this? What you say? Question asked. I'm afraid she didn't hear a word, right? Is that broken eyebrow pencil so valuable? Is it worth them all being so crazy? Crow felt like he and they were in completely different worlds. He turned his head and saw that the referee was not on the court yet. He could only endure the helplessness and continue chatting with the charming woman. What? Why gossip? It's rare to meet a woman with such a unique worldview. Wouldn't it be a pity not to chat a few words? First of all, let me correct you. I am no longer young, so don't call me little brother. In addition, you are not my sister. Please don't try to get relatives. And the most important thing is that you are not my sister. Do you really think you can beat me? Do you really think my previous battles were all fake? Why are you so confident? Listen to Crow's unceremonious words. The charming woman was stunned at first. Then he bowed his hands without caring at all. Even a big smile. If you don't tell me, I've forgotten. Little brother, how about your sister discussing something with you? How about you admit defeat and let your sister hit your butt a few times with a wand? Don't worry. My sister is just showing off and won't really fight. By the way, my little brother still doesn't know my sister's name, right? Remember, my sister's name is Sarah Chelsea. I think you can just call me Sarah, but I prefer you to call me Sister Sarah. Sarah crossed her arms, looking at Crow with great anticipation. It was hard to hide the excitement in his voice. In her opinion, I have begged Crow for this. Crow should also give some face, right? After all, I have already given him face like this. Don't forget it. How many people want to see Crow get beaten now? How many people came to see Crow today? How many people expected Crow to fail? Many. There are simply too many to count. He promised not to really hit him. Just a few slaps on the butt. This is already a huge step back. What else could Crow be dissatisfied with? Do you have to kneel down and beg him? Moreover, she's not chasing the championship. And everyone knows it clearly. This time the champion of the youth group. Definitely Jair Shafik. Why? Who makes someone rich and a member of a pure-blood family? As for Crow? Maybe some strength. But it is definitely not as good as the two dark wizards invited by J. After all, he is a dark wizard. Neither the combat experience nor the magic spells can be compared to a child like Crow. So wait to lose to the dark wizard. He was severely humiliated. It's better to lose to yourself. You can also have a close contact with yourself. This is obviously a good deal. So he will definitely agree to his request. Doesn't that eyebrow pencil belong to you? Sarah thought about this. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but raise. His expression became more and more confident. Sorry ma'am, I think we should have a fight. In fact, we are standing here for a fight. I mean, a duel. We are standing here for a draw. Only the outcome of the duel can be considered victory or defeat, right? And I don't care what your name is. I just want to complete the duel as soon as possible. Crow looked at the confident Sarah speechlessly, shaking his head secretly. If this confidence, its words used in the right way, it will definitely allow Sarah to have a career. Pity. Opportunistic people. In the end, your talents will be wasted. But I can't blame them. After all, not everyone is as systematic as myself. Lack of money and magic can be obtained from the system. This group of people can only rely on their own efforts. Come and try to survive in this unfair world. Of course. That doesn't stop him from looking down on them. After all, people who laugh at poverty don't laugh at prostitution. A blank waste of talent. It will ultimately ruin a life. It's hard to get ahead in the wizarding world. In fact, in all the heavens and worlds, it's hard to get ahead as a civilian. But there are many ways to make ends meet. Of course. This refers to a place where there is no oppression by officials. And most people. I just chose the most tiring job. Get the lowest pay. I can only blame everyone. I blame myself for not joining a wealthy family. I blame why my parents are not rich. Resent everyone. But don't think about your own problems. Then he started to lie down. Even for survival. Go down the wrong path. Whether it is the past life or this life. He has seen too many such things. Who has not been a high-spirited young man? So you agreed? That's great. Since you agreed, there's no need to fight or not. But as you said, if a duel is a big competition, you have to duel. Sarah clenched her fists with great excitement. I was so excited that I almost couldn't help myself. She thought Crow meant what he just said. I don't want to admit defeat directly. But a fight. Then pretend to be invincible. Defeat yourself. Maybe this is boy's self-esteem? Sarah didn't think much of it. Just attribute Crow's reaction to boy's pride. But he didn't notice the corners of Crow's mouth that kept twitching. And that extremely weird look in his eyes. A strong sense of excitement is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected rich, auditorium. The children listened to the lively discussions around them. And their various tests on Crow. They all couldn't help but cover their red lips. Hiding his smile. I didn't expect Crow to be so famous. It seems that the first level badge of Sir Merlin is really precious. Unfortunately, I probably won't have the chance to obtain it. After all, the conditions for obtaining it are too harsh. Pansy shook her head helplessly. He looked slightly disappointed. She's glad Crow is so famous though. After all, that is what it means. She was not mistaken. Crow will definitely be the kind of man to be robbed in the future. And he started early. Successfully killed no less than 3 figures of love rivals. This is something to be happy about. But Crow is so good. But he is so mediocre. There is no way to stand with him. I am afraid that differences will gradually arise in the future. This made Pansy extremely sad. His face also became a little darker. Have you ever thought that the first level badge of Sir Merlin may be very precious, but it is not so precious? What really makes Crow so popular should be his age and identity. I don't want to say it, but Crow was able to obtain a first level badge when he was 10 years old. This is enough to show his potential. It is precisely because of Crow's age and talent, coupled with the first level badge, that the current effect is achieved. Hermione and Cassandra smiled at each other. Sometimes they really feel like they are sisters to each other. The kind of spiritual communication can clearly know what the other person is thinking. At least most of the time. They all have this idea. Especially when it comes to Crow. The ideas are basically the same every time. I don't think this is what Sister Pansy is worried about, right? She is worried that because Crow is so good, the gap between her and him will become wider and wider, and she will eventually be abandoned by him, right? Sister Pansy really has a deep love for Crow. Ha ha ha. Zhangqiu covered her red lips. One sentence reveals the reason for Pansy's sadness. Her words also made Pansy blush. Cassandra and the other girls also looked at her. The expressions on each of their faces. All with indescribable smiles. I didn't think so. What kind of deep love is there? Please, please? We are only 11 years old. Isn't it too early to start a relationship? We have to wait at least 2 years, right? Pansy blushed. Strongly and calmly refuted Zhangqiu's words. It was just that she was blushing all the way to her ears. But it showed the shyness in her heart. Really? Well. Pansy is right, it should indeed take another 2 years. But Sister Pansy, you can rest assured. Even if you wait another 2 years, Crow will still be the same. According to what I know about him, he will not abandon you, so you can rest assured. Hermione patted Pansy's shoulder seriously. There was an unstoppable smile on his face as he spoke. Doesn't look serious at all. This made Pansy frown slightly. My heart felt slightly heavy. Hermione's gesture. Isn't it just saying nice words to comfort yourself? Just when she was about to ask. Hermione was the first to stop smiling. Patting her shoulder. There was amusement in his tone that was hard to conceal. I'm sorry Pansy, I really can't make it up anymore. But I don't think this is my problem, but your problem. Why do you think Crow will abandon you? Have you forgotten? He is Crow. A boy who started to take advantage of us just after we met a few times. According to his temperament, even if you want to run away in the future, I'm afraid you won't be able to run away. Do you still expect him to abandon you? I think the chances of you succeeding in asking Merlin to possess you are far higher than the chances of him abandoning you. Merlin's beard, this is so funny. Forgive me Pansy. Hermione clutched her stomach. Squatting on the ground and laughing. As one of the people who knows Crow best. Although she couldn't grasp the purpose of most of Crow's things. But get along for a long time. She knew it clearly. Crow is definitely not the type to abandon others. Especially them. After all, he put in a lot of effort. I just collected a few of them. How could you abandon that so easily? Hermione said so. Cassandra and the other girls also reacted. Combined with Pansy's previous worries. He also started laughing immediately. Even if it's Luna. The corners of his mouth also raised slightly. There was only Pansy. He lowered his head in embarrassment. The body twitched slightly a few times. It seemed like he was extremely sad. She also thought it was super funny. Why do I feel like a super pervert? Plus a super collector. Will you give up on yourself? Or is it for such a nonsense reason? This is really, so funny. Mr. and Mrs. Granger looked at each other. Silently squeezed aside. Is this a topic they should be listening to? Do your children treat them as if they don't exist? And their baby daughter? Has it really taken on the shape of Crow? But there was nothing they could do. You can't interrupt their conversation by opening your mouth, right? If they speak, it will definitely embarrass a few girls. But if you don't speak, they really can't listen to these things. Simply move your position. After all, out of sight, out of mind. Not listening. Well, sadly, they could still clearly hear the women's conversations and laughter. The couple looked at each other helplessly. I could only shake my head and pretend not to hear. A strong feeling of happiness is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected rich, Here a series of golden treasure chest beeps. Crow fiddled with his wand for a moment. Then he turned around with a puzzled look. Sure enough, I saw my children gathered around, chatting and laughing. Seeing them getting along so well, Crow couldn't help but nodded with satisfaction. Reach out and touch your nose. It seems that things like Shura Field only happen in novels, right? After all, I am not Brother Cheng, and I am not a playboy. I just want to give them a stable home. Ahem, I just want to collect a few treasure girls and use the treasure boxes they provide to become stronger. It's definitely not a collection hobby, and they are not my wings. Absolutely not. Well, at least not now. Crow shook his head. Remove distracting thoughts from your mind. It happened that the referee also came to the field at this time. Crow lowered his tightly held arms. He raised his wand to Sarah. Assume an elegant dual pose. And Sarah is still immersed in the joy of getting an eyebrow pencil. Until the referee spoke to remind him. She reacted belatedly. He quickly raised his wand. Taking on a not quite standard dueling stance. Both parties are ready for the duel. Please perform duel salutes before the duel begins. The referee finished. Crow and Sarah walked to the middle of the ring. After bowing gracefully to each other, turn around and walk to their respective positions. Little brother, don't forget your words. Expelliarmus. Sarah just turned around. I was about to give Crow a few eyebrows. It implies that he will fulfill his promise. But it wasn't Crow's answer that greeted her, but a blazing white light. Before she could react, the wand in his hand came out. It fell to the ground with a clang. This sound was more than just a dropped wand. It also broke Sarah's desire for eyebrow pencil. Duel winner. Crow Wells. The referee raised his arms in excitement. Announce the results to the audience in the auditorium. The audience also cheered. The warm cheers also woke Sarah up from her daze. The sea-like despair and anger instantly submerged her. A strong emotion of anger and despair is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Intense, 2 detected. Chapter 136. Why? Why is this? You clearly promised me. Why don't you keep your promise? Why? Sarah collapsed and fell to her knees. The tears couldn't stop flowing out. Despair washed over her like a tidal wave. It made her feel a strong sense of suffocation. It was as if the whole world was rejecting her. They are all teasing her. Lie to her. Ah! Sarah sat on the ground sobbing in despair. A desperate roar came from his mouth. Like a crazy beast. This scene immediately stunned everyone on the spot. Both spectators and players. I don't even know what Sarah is going to do. Feel embarrassed if you lose too quickly? But her opponent is Crow after all. Isn't it normal to lose? And even if you lose, you're not so angry and desperate, right? In the audience for a while, speculations abound about Sarah. Within a very short period of time, some insiders came forward and broke the news. I'm going to tell you a secret. Originally I didn't want to tell you, but in this situation, it would feel wrong if I didn't tell you. If you want to say something, say it quickly. If you don't say it, hurry up and get out. That's it. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Who wants to listen to your feelings? If you don't say it, get out. Haha, the game has just ended, and you came out to break the news? Whoa, are you a friend of any of these two people? Then you are really disgusting. No matter how disgusting his behavior is, I only know that if you don't tell the truth, I will let you know right away what it means. The insider originally wanted to delay it for a while. I really want to think about how to make it up. As a result, no one gave him any chance to delay. He scolded him directly. There are even people with evil intentions. Covet his flowers. This scared the insider all over. Quickly cover your butt. A stiff smile appeared on his face. At this time, his Zero Sanson heart was about to curse. Are these people crazy? Don't you know it's hard for others to make up stories? And he just wants to be in the spotlight. How could such a thing happen? When I met those insiders who broke the news before. Have you never encountered such a situation? Although I wanted to cry and run away. But as an insider, he didn't even have a chance to escape. I can only bite the bullet. Tell everyone the story you made up. Actually, I heard that this woman has some unknown past with Crow. This woman is actually the daughter of Crow's neighbor's 7th aunt's second aunt and her niece. Hey, this is a bad fate. The matter started from 10 years ago, when no one interrupted me. On the contrary, everyone heard it with gusto. The insider couldn't help but become even more excited. It was as if Merlin's wisdom had descended upon him. Beans a few minutes short. He told Crow everything from childhood to adulthood. Even Crow peed the bed a few times. He told everyone. Of course. In the story, he plays the role of the strict father's best friend. Saw Crow pee his pants. He pulled Crow's feet. Give him a hard spank with the belt. Everyone was mesmerized by this wonderful plot. Especially when you hear something secret. They also let out bursts of exclamations. They were all shocked by the revelation from the insider. Sons and daughters stand together. They all had their arms folded. He looked at the insider expressionlessly. What do you think will happen to Crow after he finds out about this? Do you want to bet again? The person who loses the bet, wear white this time to show him. Pansy tilted her head. There was a weird smile on his face. There was also a flash of light in her beautiful eyes. Actually, Crow's hands were warm. It's still very comfortable across the high silk. Well, that's right. Very comfortable. If I could experience it once. She chose to take her sisters with her. If you have the Tao, you will be blessed and enjoy it together. If there's any trouble, you'll be there. Such rare conviction. How can she enjoy it by herself? Betting again? Or this kind of punishment? Isn't it not good? After all, we all. If you all want to bet, I can participate. Jiangqiu pursed her red lips. After struggling for a while, still no words of rejection were spoken. After all, Crow's little hands are indeed warm. And Crow doesn't know where he learned foot massage. It's really comfortable. Just after the massage, high silk is always wet. But this shouldn't be blamed on Crow. It must be that my body is too weak. I've heard it before. When someone is physically weak, massaging the soles of your feet is a painful thing. I don't feel any pain. Just a little sweaty. It should also be a sign of my own physical weakness. Well, it definitely is. After all, Crow is only 11 years old. Even if you have evil intentions, he doesn't have that strength either. You can bet, but, nothing but, I have no problem. Since you want to bet, count me in. But let me state in advance that losers cannot escape punishment. Hermione originally wanted to offer some advice. But I think of that tingling feeling. Words of persuasion. Immediately it was blocked in the mouth and could not come out. Actually make a bet. Have some fun. Pretty good, right? Hey, Luna, do you want to join us? You won last time because we didn't observe carefully and it was due to luck. You may not have that kind of luck this time. Cassandra looked at Luna with excitement. His eyes were full of desire for victory. What is not to enjoy? Is it important to win back the victory? Since losing last time, she felt uncomfortable for a long time. If it's just bad luck, forget it. But she actually lost because she didn't observe carefully. This made her very uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable that I feel like jumping off a building. Now there is a chance to win back a victory. Of course she was very excited. As for what enjoyment? Is it important to win? Can it be as great as the pleasure brought by victory? Definitely none. So this victory, she is bound to win. I don't care, you just decide. Luna stared blankly at the nail clipper in her hand. The tone is also very casual. But everyone who knows her knows that. It's not that she doesn't care. It's just a simple habit. Although it is very uncomfortable. But you'll be fine once you get used to it. In that case, it's settled that the loser will continue the same punishment as last time, but this time it will be white. If you don't want to play, you can quit, but you can't quit after it's over. Pansy licked her red lips. He spoke to the girls with an excited look on his face. This time it failed. She is bound to win. Don't waste time, Crow will start the next game later. I'll go first, I bet Crow will give this guy a good lesson and beat him to the ground. Jiangqiu's beautiful eyes twinkled slightly. His face turned slightly red. Although I really want to lose. But she was afraid of losing too obviously. A few girls saw some clues. So I came up with a more pertinent answer. After all, it's Crow's character. I will never go around this guy who spreads rumors. Then I'll bet Crow will smash his body to pieces and turn everything about this person into pieces. If I lose the bet, I'll be punished voluntarily. I bet he will turn big things into trivial matters. After teaching this person a lesson, he will stop caring about him. Hermione had just finished speaking. Pansy couldn't wait to speak. There was indescribable excitement on his face. Several girls looked at Pansy with strange eyes. Pansy's face turned slightly red. But he still raised his head stubbornly. I bet Crow will teach that man a lesson and send him to Merlin. Luna spoke calmly. Her words also drew the attention of the women back. Becoming solved a social death crisis for Pansy. But what she said. But it made the girls a little stunned. I don't know what Crow's temper is, but judging from his behavior, once he knows about this, he will definitely not let this person go. Luna played with her finger scissors. He said with a calm expression. You are right. According to Crow's character, he will not let this person go. Once he knows what this person said, it is not impossible to kill him. But Cassandra paused. Several women looked sideways at her. Even Luna is no exception. He also looked sideways at Cassandra. I want to hear what she said next. At the same time, there was a flash of doubt in her eyes. Based on my guess about Crow, he would definitely kill this man. Although I don't know why the previous women's guesses were so conservative. But judging from Cassandra's words, she should have seen this too. That being the case, what else is there? Could Crow be for some reason? Aren't you going to take action against this person? Just as Luna looked confused. When making random guesses, Cassandra smiled and shook her head at the girls. It seems that you still don't understand Crow and can't see through his character. Once he knows about this, he will definitely be honest with this person about the killer. But he will not do it blatantly, but will find a way to kill this person. After all, this is a duel competition. He promised Professor Flitwick that he will naturally abide by his promise and restore the duel competition to its former glory. In this case, he cannot do it blatantly. Cassandra analyzed the women with a serious look on her face. While talking, there was even a little bit of pride on his face. Hermione and Zhongqiu looked at each other silently. Both of them looked away in embarrassment. Cassandra could tell. How could they not see it? Not to mention it's obvious. Just, for a special reason. It's better for them to pretend not to know. Pansy on the other side also knew this. But she didn't feel embarrassed. At the beginning of it can be a little embarrassing. Especially when being watched by several girls. That awkward feeling. It made her want to dig in with her toes. But after the embarrassment, this happens again. She is immune. It cannot be said that I am immune. All I can say is, she has become much thicker-skinned. So I bet that Crow will use some methods to kill this person. I am willing to admit defeat. If I lose, I will accept the punishment voluntarily and will never regret it. Cassandra clapped her hands in affirmation. He looked at the four girls with a confident expression. Although she didn't think this insider deserved to die. But judging from Crow's character, this insider will definitely be killed. In his words, it's okay for others to spread rumors. But his parents spread rumors. That won't work. Your skin and hair is from your parents. Even if I haven't seen them. We cannot allow others to spread rumors and insult us. So she was sure. Once Crow found out about it, this insider will definitely not be let go. But Crow is also a very trustworthy person. Since I agreed to Professor Flitwick, he also inherited the teachings of Professor Flitwick. Naturally, he will do his best to fulfill the agreement. Even if you don't like it, he will also finish it seriously. Then wait for the next time. I won't accept any more messy entrustments like this. This is part of his character. It is also one of the features. This is also the fundamental factor why she can deduce how Crow will act. But the premise of our bet is that Crow knows about this. But now that Crow is still down there, how could he know about this? I guess by the time he knows about this, the man will have already run away, right? Luna tilted her head. He asked with a calm face. Heard her ask. Cassandra and Hermione looked at each other. There was a meaningful smile on their faces. I think Crow would know, after all he is Crowell's, isn't he? Well, if I said that he had cast a listening spell on us, would you believe it? Of course this is a joke, but you can rest assured that this matter will definitely not be hidden from him. The two women looked at each other and smiled. It's just that this smile is somewhat intriguing. What Hermione just said wasn't entirely false. At least the listening spell wasn't fake. It's just that the function of that magic spell is very strange. The most important ability is not to monitor what the women are doing, but a life-saving shackles. And this spell can be turned on and off. Once they are in danger, this will turn on the spell. That way Crow would know they were in danger. Same thing. On weekdays, this curse will be turned off by them. Crow naturally couldn't hear it. Just this spell. Currently it's only been used on her and Cassandra. In Crow's words, this spell is still under experimentation. Wait and see after using it for a year or two. If it works, use it on others. So Pansy's children didn't know about this. And just now, they finished their agreement. This unlocks the restriction of this listening spell. That is to say, Crow can already clearly hear the revelations from the insider. I think his expression must be very good looking. Hermione and Cassandra covered their mouths and snickered a few times. The children watching this scene looked puzzled. 2.4 For the first time, it felt like their communications were not on the same channel. They just wanted to ask. Hermione made a silent gesture. At the same time, he pointed at the insider behind him who was talking so freely. Zhongqiu and his daughter looked at each other in confusion. However, he still suppressed the questions that came to his lips. Just keep your head down and wait for the results. A strong sense of excitement is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected rich. Finished dealing with Sarah's crow. Just sitting on the sofa in the lounge. I haven't had time to enjoy it yet. I heard the system prompt. Didn't wait for his reaction. A burst of noisy sound reached his ears again. This sudden sound, making him feel slightly uncomfortable. But it was just gloomy. And the voice spoke with excitement. Tisk. I guess he will die miserably. I'm afraid Crow will torture him severely and then crush his bones into pieces before sending him to death. Listen to the rough voice inside. Until that person brags and gets high. There was no murderous intention. Dark green fluorescence. It's conservative. According to Crow's character, after using shattered bones, I'm afraid he will use shattered bones again to restore his original state, and then use shattered bones again. Murderous intent flashed in his eyes. That's Avada's big mouth. Crow's face instantly darkened. This sentence made Crow stand up instantly. This sound, is the listening charm? The work of Hermione and Cassandra? Why do they understand? Damn, they really have everything. Let's just call this place the Demon Arena. That's right. The tip of the wand suddenly glowed with fluorescent light. The elder wand in his hand seemed to sense the anger of its owner. I couldn't help but frown. Just open your mouth and brag about the past between him and Crow's mother. Chapter 137. Oh Merlin's beard, I can already predict this man's tragic ending. He will definitely die miserably, absolutely. That's not what you said when you made the bet. You said Crow would not kill, but would settle the matter. It's too late for you to regret it now, the bet has been fulfilled. Pan X I heard what Zhongqiu said. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but raise slightly. But he put on a stubborn look on his face. Hold your little head high. Of course I won't go back on my word, and I'm not someone who doesn't abide by my agreement. Now that I've made a decision, I won't change it, so don't worry. Cassandra and the girls looked at each other and smiled. Even the corners of Luna's mouth raised slightly. How could they not see Pansy's little thoughts? I just don't want to point it out. He was even willing to hide it for her. After all, her proposal. Actually great. At least if Pansy didn't bring it up. They might miss Crow's salty pig's claws. And Pansy said it. They just echoed it. This will not reveal their inner thoughts. That's why they were willing to agree to the bet. Even willing to help Pansy cover up. After all, Pansy just did what they both wanted to do. Honestly, have you ever considered that Crow can clearly hear what we are saying now? If he favors someone, wouldn't we lose miserably? Cassandra crossed her arms. He frowned and looked around at his children. Do not know why. She always felt that some women had evil intentions. It doesn't look like they want to win. But if you don't want to win, why do they want to bet on that? But for the fairness of the bet, she still couldn't help but give a few reminders. After all, lost for this reason. But it's even more annoying than losing last time. So what if Crow can hear it? We bet that we still can't change his decision. I know his temper, and he won't deliberately change his decision just because he favors someone, especially on this matter. Hermione waved her hand nonchalantly. Even speaking outright. As if he didn't care that Crow could hear it. A long-lasting relationship. She didn't know anything else. But be clear. That said, Crow certainly isn't taking sides. Of course. This is when they are equal in status. Otherwise, yes. Crow will definitely take sides. In his words. It's just that people are selfish creatures. 19 No matter how bad your own people are. That's one of our own too. No matter how good it is for outsiders. That's an outsider too. That's Crow's philosophy. He'd told Hermione before. So Hermione remembered it very clearly. Then we'll just wait and see what Crow will do. To be honest, I'm very much looking forward to what he will do. Will it be as I guess, for this person? What do you think, Crow? Cassandra did not reveal her own speculation. Because she wants a fair victory. If she revealed her guess, Crow did what she guessed. Then she will feel defeated. Even if it wasn't Crow's preference for her. Deliberately trying to make her win. Even the children know this. She didn't want to do that either. Her pride would never allow herself to do such a thing. Absolutely not. A strong and determined emotion is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected rich, Crow didn't pay attention to the system prompts. Instead, he was very concerned about the conversation between the girls. After hearing the content of the conversation, Crow's anger subsided for a moment. His eyes also became weird. That's right. It's not because he's not angry anymore. Instead, he was very angry. It's just, the girls actually made a bet again? Listen to the conversation just now. I'm afraid this punishment is still related to myself. This. Isn't the loss suffered last time enough? Wrong. It should be said that the fairyland like last time can actually be returned again? True and false? How big of a heart do Cassandra and the others have? I made that bet once. Are you still betting now? Crazy? Ahem, so crazy. A little crazier would be better. The extreme pull kept waking up in Crow's mind. His eyes kept flickering. The corners of his mouth raised from time to time. Let me tell you, this Crow and I are. Just when Crow was pushing himself to the limit. The rough voice in my head. Making his face darken again. Sometimes, you may live a good life without being mean. The consequences of being mean, death may be a mercy, at least that's what I think. Crow scowled. The murderous intent in his eyes was already overflowing. The hand holding the elder wand. Also trembling. He is very angry. The elder wand felt his wrath too. The terrifying power it contains. It also became more terrifying. Don't worry, wait a little longer, now is not the time. We promised Professor Flitwick that we would help him lead the duel competition to glory again. He has taught us seriously for more than a month, and we cannot break his promise. Crow stroked the elder wand. He muttered a few words softly. He seemed to be persuading the elder wand. In fact, it really calmed the restless elder wand. After all, this thing is one of the 3 deathly hallows. According to legend, it was made by the god of death himself. Nature versus death and killing. Have a transcendent interest. Since he wants to be famous so much and wants everyone's attention so much, then I will make it happen. He should be grateful to us, he should be grateful to us. The corners of Crow's mouth raised slightly. I already have a plan in mind. This so-called insider. At first glance, you can tell that you want to get everyone's attention and adulation. Since he wants these things so much. So what's the harm in fulfilling him? Just don't know. When he really gets everyone's attention. What's it like? It must have been exciting. Very excited. Are you happy? Crow flexed his wrist a few times. Already pondering in my heart. What spell will I use later? Only then can this person endure the most painful torture. Crucio is good. Unfortunately, it is one of the 3 unforgivable curses. If he uses it, everything he has done before will be in vain. And he doesn't know how to cut out the bones. He doesn't know how to do it. Then he doesn't have many options left. The tarantella entertained him first. Let him endure the despair of being broken into pieces. Wrong. You have to control your strength when you are shattered into pieces. It's best to have it under control. Just break him one joint at a time. And keep him dancing. At the end. Then hit him on both legs. Completely shattering his dance dream after that. He doesn't have a pensieve here either. Otherwise, extract the memory of this insider. Let the audience really see it. His magnificent life. It's a pity that he doesn't have a pensieve. It's probably too late to look for him now. So this idea can only be castrated. Oh right. Castration. I don't know how to smash a bird to pieces and fry it. Will it cause harm? That thing shouldn't have any bones, right? Or use another magic spell. Like a thunderbolt explosion? Let the magic jump back and forth between the 2 egg yolks to add power. And then exploded violently. Crow's eyes flashed. But then he shook his head helplessly. Thunderbolt explosions can stack in power. This is the benefit. But this time it seems very useless. After all, he didn't want to blow this man up directly. Hey, still can't think of a good way? Then let's take one step first and then look at the next. After all, I am such a kind person, and letting him live a little longer can be regarded as kindness to him. 17 Crow stretched out boredly. Manually turn off the listening magic between the 2 women. How to close it manually? Just give yourself some earplugs and listen. Works better than anything else. Hey? It feels like, Crow used earplugs to listen? It seems that he really didn't lie to us at first. Only we can turn this thing on and off. Cassandra and Hermione looked at each other. When Crow uses magic, they felt it. This made them a little surprised. Did not expect. At first Crow said he couldn't turn this thing on or off. They can only switch it on and off by themselves. This is nonsense that you can tell as soon as you hear it. It's actually true? This could not help but refresh their understanding of Crow again. When will it start? He actually started to act like a human being. Are you starting to be a good person? It seems that we really blamed him wrongly this time, but it makes sense if you think about it. The monitoring curse was originally meant to protect us. If he really wanted to monitor our privacy, he must have cast it secretly. Privacy? Do we have privacy in front of him? Oh my god, I finally know why he is so honest this time. Hermione had just finished speaking. Cassandra's eyes widened. A few shocked exclamations. Hermione also reacted. His originally smiling expression. He suddenly became stiff. The 2 women looked at each other silently. He kicked away the admiration he had just felt for Crow. No wonder he didn't play around with this curse. They had no privacy in front of Crow. Do I still need a listening spell? Listening spell? Is there such a spell? Was it developed by Crow himself? What is the effect? Is it easy to use? No. No matter where this curse comes from, why are you 2 the only ones with it? We haven't heard Crow mention any listening curses to us. It's not that I haven't mentioned the listening curse, it's that he hasn't even mentioned the development of the curse. I don't think he wants to hide it from us, right? Zhongqiu and Pan Xi crossed their arms. He looked at the 2 women expressionlessly. Although they knew this might just be a misunderstanding. But it feels very bad to be distinguished like this. It made them all a little angry. Why would Crow cast these 2 spells on the 2 women? But you never mentioned it in front of them? Could it be that it was in his heart? Are the 2 women more important than them? Pan Xi and Zhang Kaiyu I want. The anger in my heart grew stronger. At the same time, I felt extremely aggrieved. The eye sockets are even a little red. They need an explanation. Otherwise, this matter will always remain in their hearts. Have you ever thought about it? You are still not familiar with Crow. This magic spell is not mature. At that time, we thought he was joking. You know, how can a child who has just entered school study the magic spell? But the reality is obviously, he succeeded. Hermione and Cassandra looked at each other helplessly. They had already guessed this would happen. From the time they chose to expose the listening curse. I guessed the questions of the two women. After all, if this kind of thing happens to them, they will also question. Unfair treatment. It's something that everyone can't stand. What's more, it involves Crow. That would be even more unbearable. The most important thing. If it was before, they can take this opportunity to cause trouble for Crow. Wrong. It should be said that Cassandra can take the opportunity to find trouble with Crow. Let him suffer a severe loss. But no more now. Because Cassandra is already in the form of Crow. Then why didn't he mention it to us later? It's been so long, he should have mentioned it, right? You can't forget it, right? Well, it's very possible, but I don't think so. Pan Xi and Zhang Chu were speechless. They guessed the answer, but never thought about it. The answer is so nonsense. But this did not convince them. After all, they have known Crow for so long now. But I didn't even hear any news about this curse. If it weren't for what the two women said today, I'm afraid they won't be there for a few more years. Didn't even know there was this thing. It's not that he has forgotten. He has a very good memory. He can clearly remember the color of the kucha you wore yesterday after more than 10 days. The advantage of this magic spell is in the trial period. Besides, what he said at first was false at first sight. Naturally, we 487 will not use it. This also leads to the fact that this trial period has been not passed. Cassandra and Hermione smiled awkwardly. Zhang Chu and Pan Xi have black lines on their foreheads. But they can also understand why the two women think so. After all, whoever hears a pervert say that to you? Only you can turn on and off my listening magic. I can't turn it on or off here, so you can rest assured that I will not eavesdrop on your privacy. Absolutely not. Bar, asterisk, would you believe it? The corners of Pan Xi and Zhang Chu's mouths twitched a few times. They looked at each other silently. At least, they don't believe it. A strong speechless emotion detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected Rich, Crow, who was doing the etiquette before the duel, ignored the system prompts. Turn around and walk to the predetermined location. Just arrived at the place. He immediately turned around and waved the Elder Wand a few times. Expelliarmus. Collapse. The two voices sounded almost at the same time. But Crow releases the spell faster. Plus the power bonus of the Elder Wand. His Expelliarmus easily crushed his opponent's stunner. The overgrown 18-year-old boy across the street saw this. The cold expression turned solemn. Shattered to pieces. Torn to pieces. Flames are blazing. Seeing that his fainting spell was at a disadvantage in the collision with Expelliarmus, he didn't hesitate at all. Just raise the wand. Several spells were thrown at Crow. Are you kidding me? This is the employer's worst enemy. That's when employers find them. It was stated clearly that only Crow would be eliminated. Just give them 50 gold galleons. If you cripple Crow, add 100 gold galleons. Destroy Crow and add 500 gold galleons. This is a golden galleon. Just 1 gold gallon. It's enough for him to go to the bar for half a month. You need to know their compensation for taking this order. But there were only 30 gold galleons. Or share it with 2 people. What is this concept? The free 500 gold galleons are coming to my door. I'm afraid it's a half and half split. It's enough to keep him happy for several years. So he was very serious about this duel. And he went there with the purpose of abolishing Crow. Therefore, the subsequent curse did not hold back at all. I used my full strength in every move. This is just a duel competition. Are you willing to use such a deadly attack? Even for me, I only used one to break my body into pieces. Can't you learn from it? Crow looked at the 3 magic spells rushing towards him at extremely fast speeds. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. After shaking his head helplessly, just waved the Elder Wand a few times. Call the gods and call the guards. Hiss roar. Dark green light shines throughout the duel match. Originally there was still a lively discussion in the audience. It also became silent at this moment. Everyone stared blankly at the dark green basilisk in the field. A strong emotion of surprise is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Strong, detected. Chapter 138. Mom, look, it's such a big snake. It's still green, it's great. What kind of big snake? That's a basilisk. An extremely dangerous magical animal. The kind that can eat people. A basilisk? Impossible, right? This is the venue for a duel competition, and there are aurors patrolling outside. It's impossible for a basilisk to sneak in. Impossible? What do you think this is? Have you ever seen such a big snake? Have you ever seen a green snake? This is a basilisk. A blood-eating and cruel basilisk. This is impossible, absolutely impossible. Although I don't know what kind of snake this is, I am sure that it is not a basilisk. It should be some kind of magic. I just heard Crow shouting for God to call for guards. Could this be calling for gods to call for guards? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Everyone in the audience was talking a lot. There were exclamations one after another. Resounded throughout the duel competition venue. But here's the surprise. No one stood up and left. Or someone wants to leave. But the crowds. He couldn't squeeze out at all. What? Who wants to leave? I know astronomy. Understand geography. A trash who is capable of both literary and military skills, an insider. At this point he was almost PD with fear. My whole body was wet with cold sweat. Are you kidding me? If you don't run now. Later that kid hears his rumor. Don't you let this snake eat you? If you don't run now, when will you wait? But no matter how hard he squeezed. In the surging crowd. He couldn't squeeze out at all. Helpless, he could only give up the struggle. Huddled up in the middle of the crowd. Don't hear me bragging, don't do it. I just like to brag, that's not right. This is just my first time bragging, so don't do anything to me. The insider clasped his hands. Keep praying to God, Merlin, for his blessing. A strong emotion of fear detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. Detected rich. Crow raised his eyebrows frivolously. I don't care about the system. Just playing with the Elder Wand. He looked at the sweaty opponent opposite him with a smile on his face. That's what you dark wizards are like. You are scared to death when you come up. After you find that you can't fight, you don't have a chance to escape. I just sensed murderous intent from you. What? You still want to kill me? Oh, by the way, I haven't asked you for your name yet. I never kill someone whose name I don't know. Of course, don't misunderstand me. I can't give you a name, so I said I won't kill him. This doesn't mean you don't have to die. Crow waved his hand casually. The dark green basilisk coiled its body. A blood-eating cold light flashed in the raised head. The body is also put into an attack stance. Just waiting for Crow's order. You can directly swallow the enemy on the opposite side. You want to kill me? No. This is a duel competition, we are dueling, you can't kill me. Can't kill me. The overdeveloped 18-year-old boy waved his hands in horror. The steps also involuntarily retreated. It's not that he is too cowardly. But, this basilisk has really green eyes. It made his breathing tingle. As for the thoughts of resistance? Are you joking? He used several of the spells he was most familiar with. In the end, they were easily resisted by this basilisk. How can you resist in this situation? Can you use a levitation spell to control a basilisk? Or use a thunderbolt explosion? But no matter which one it is. It's all nonsense. If only he were so brave. He won't be just a little dark wizard. He has long since become one of the top dark wizards. Do you still have to take on these tasks to make a living? At this time, his heart was already cold. What the hell, 500 gold galleons. He knows that money is not so easy to make. His brother still didn't believe it. Are you okay now? My younger brother is going on a voyage into the belly of the basilisk. A strong emotion of fear and despair is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected rich. Crow's eyes were slightly cold. The Elder Wand was pressed against his neck. Amplifying spells amplified his voice. The childish voice echoed throughout the duel competition venue. I think you should be quiet. I don't want to waste any more time on this boring farce. I mean, I want to solve this problem as soon as possible. It's a small problem, but it gives me a headache. But this is something Professor Flitwick asked me to do. Since I promised, I will definitely do it. So please be quiet and wait until I finish solving this matter before you speak again. Although Crow's voice is extremely childish, but the words he spoke had their own dignity. Let the audience shut their mouths and stop talking. Although they don't know why. But subconsciously, I wanted to follow Crow's orders. As if, following his orders is the right thing to do. A strong sense of curiosity detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. Detected rich, contestants in the dugout. Jer's face was sullen. His fists were clenched tightly in his hands. My heart was filled with a bad feeling. He turned around to look at the elite dark wizard he hired. But he saw that the other party had already gone behind the sofa and was shivering. This almost made J so angry that he vomited blood. You losers are actually scared by a 10-year-old child. What are you looking at? Why are you staring? Don't you know who the employer is? Don't you want gin gallon? J stood up. He pointed at the man's nose and scolded him unceremoniously. The man heard gold galleons. The anger in his heart filled the room. Then it slowly dissipated. He shrugged his head and let J scold him. You losers, look at me. Why don't you make room for me? Do you want me to challenge Crow? Are you kidding me? J was just about to stand up for a while. Go fight Crow. Hello, King Zhao. When he turned around, he saw the basilisk 3 or 4 times thicker than his waist. All of a sudden, he was full of pride and enthusiasm. Intense, detected. Only deep fear remained. The dark wizard on the side looked at J with his mouth open. He leaned back on the sofa and shivered. The dark wizard immediately covered his mouth. Extreme fear detected. Huddled behind the sofa and shivering. He hugged his legs and shivered. Only then was he satisfied with the same pose as the dark wizard. Get reward, diamond treasure box. J looked at the dark wizard expressionlessly. The originally high-spirited tone. J saw this. The body even jumped behind the sofa before speaking. Mr. Shafik, aren't you going to challenge Crow? Why, I know, just pretend I didn't ask. He curled up silently. He also became extremely weak. All disappeared. Chapter 139. In an attic of the duel competition venue. The 2 old men were relatively speechless. They had seen Crow's impatience. I can also see that he is a little angry now. But they don't know. Why is Crow angry? Didn't the plan develop according to his expectations? Why do you still feel angry? I think there must have been some accidents, otherwise Crow wouldn't be so angry. But we don't know what happened in the meantime, do we? And we don't know, is it good or bad for Crow to do this now? Will it ruin all the things he has done before? The 2 old men looked at each other silently. When it comes to this issue, they actually couldn't tell the answer. After all, what is Crow's plan? They had guessed it before. But now, I can't guess. They don't even know. What's the point of Crow doing this? Don't you know? Is this likely to be a waste of all previous efforts? Or does he have other plans? It depends on the current situation. I'm afraid there are no other plans. The 2 looked at each other silently for a few moments. 970. My heart is full of sadness. No, we have to stop him. It's rare that there is hope this time, I can't let him break like this. Wait, old guy, wait. Have you forgotten? This time the hope was created by Crow. We don't know Crow's plan, but we should believe him. Flitwick looked serious. The 2 old men with grey beards looked at each other. Then he turned to look at Crow in the middle of the duel field below. Worry flashed in their eyes. At the same time, there is also a strong expectation. If Crow can succeed, then their efforts will not be in vain. The duel competition can also be held in their lifetime. Return to the previous fiery state. We should really believe in him, he is the hope of everything. A strong emotion of anticipation is detected. Get reward, diamond treasure box. Detected rich, Crow ignored the system prompts. Take a look around. Seeing that everyone was giving face to him, he didn't say anything. He immediately nodded with satisfaction. Everyone, get this basilisk away before you speak. You know, right? The duel competition is no longer the duel competition it used to be. It has changed from a glorious competition pursued by countless people in the past to a plaything of the powerful now. Rules are just playthings in the eyes of this group of powerful families. The Ministry of Magic turned a blind eye to this matter. In fact, we can't blame them. After all, they are just dogs wagging their tails around pure-blood families. Crow doesn't shy away from anything. Spoken words pass through amplifying spells. It spread throughout the entire venue instantly. The audience exclaimed in surprise. He's finished. What can he do if he's a genius? Once he offended the pureblood family, he also offended the Ministry of Magic. He won't survive. Madman. This man is simply a madman. Doesn't he want to live? Even if this is the truth, he can't say it in a place like this, right? Mom, since what the little brother said is the truth, why do these uncles and aunts say they can't tell it? Maybe this little brother said the wrong thing. Didn't the Ministry of Magic award him the first-class badge of the Order of Merlin a few days ago? Why did he slander the Ministry of Magic so much? The Ministry of Magic still wants to slander it. Are you kidding me? Are there not enough ugly things done by the Ministry of Magic? Are you really not aware of it? So what happens when the gap is reached? Life has to go on. Do we have to abandon everything, like Crow? I can die, but what about my family? Are they going to be implicated along with me? There were bursts of exclamations from the audience. The faces of the children, also became ugly. They weren't because Crow was insulting the pureblood family or the Ministry of Magic. Just simply worried about him. These are the words he said today. I'm afraid this afternoon. It will be on the headlines of major newspapers. Like playing devil's advocate. Why so sure? Well, Luna has now started writing furiously. Under their watchful eyes, I began to write the manuscript. I think we are in a little trouble. I wonder if we can get through the hospital smoothly this time. Hey Crow, this guy is really, always causing trouble. Now it's better, isn't it a big deal? I think he will have to live in Azkaban in the future. Ah? Azkaban? That prison where the most vicious criminals in the wizarding world are held? No. Crow can't go anywhere. We should think of a way to solve this problem instead of wondering whether Crow will sleep on a wooden bed for the rest of his life. The four girls said something to each other. As he talked, the atmosphere gradually became tense. The smile on his face also disappeared. His brows were also furrowed tightly. Our family has begun to decline, and I'm afraid they won't help us. I haven't told my family about Crow, and they don't know about it, otherwise they would definitely not allow me to associate with Crow. Like Hermione, we are both Muggle-born and have no family. This time of trouble. I'm afraid we can't help. What about Cassandra? Your family seems very strong, right? Is there any way to save Crow? We can't really let him kiss those Dementors, right? Hermione said this. The women's eyes all turned to Cassandra. Even if it was Luna who was writing furiously. He also stopped holding the quill in his hand. Looking sideways at Cassandra. It seems now. Of the children, only Cassandra could do anything about it. The Woolley family behind her. But it is developing extremely well in a beautiful country. Not only is there no decline. Instead, it flourished. Compared to other lonely pureblood families, the situation is simply not an order of magnitude better. So they pinned their hopes on Cassandra. Or in other words, it's the Woolley family behind her. I'm afraid Crow can be saved now. There is only the Woolley family. Probably even Professor Dumbledore came in person. They can't safely protect Crow. After all, what he just said. But he has offended all the forces that can be offended. The only ones who weren't offended, were probably the dark wizards. The children sighed secretly. Crow, what a troublemaker. A strong feeling of worry is detected. Get reward, Diamond Treasure Box. Intense, detected. Chapter 140. Hear the system beep. The corners of Crow's mouth raised slightly. He knew it without looking back. Who contributed to these treasure chests? The first few. It should be Professor Flitwick and his friends. There are several diamond treasure chests at the back. That's even more obvious. It must be Cassandra and the others, no doubt. After all, there may be many people who care about him in this world. But someone who really cares about his life and death. That's quite a bit. But can contribute so many diamond treasure chests in a row. Except for a few women. There is no one else. Crow chuckled and shook his head. Look around at the quiet crowd around you. I know you are surprised, and may even spurn me. You think that once I offend the Ministry of Magic and the pureblood family, I will definitely die. But I want to tell you. Not only will I not die, I will live well. You will even get awards, such as a first-class badge from the Order of Merlin, and a few more would be pretty good. I mean, that thing is just perfect for the table legs. Crow spoke without any hesitation. Even as he spoke, he couldn't help but make a few jokes. It made the audience smile out loud. And several Ministry of Magic staff. And Cassandra and the others. His face became increasingly ugly. Crow is going to die. Confront the Ministry of Magic? What did he mean? Why he exposes these things? Does the Ministry of Magic want to give him an award? And why would he say this? He meant. The women looked at each other silently. They all showed beautiful smiles. Crow's words. I'm afraid you told them, right? Did you see their worries? Is that why you say this to appease their emotions? But this matter is so serious. It would be difficult for Crow alone to solve this problem. I can't say it's difficult, it's very difficult. But we should believe in him, don't forget, he is Crow Wells. Several women arrived in unison. After speaking, they all showed beautiful smiles. Just this smile. How much worry and fear lurk. Only they themselves know. But things have come to this. They had no choice but to trust Crow. After all, he is never sure of anything. Hermione smiled, whispering the conjectures in the women's minds. A strong and determined emotion is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected rich. Crow sat on the huge body of the basilisk patroness. Waved the elder wand casually a few times. He restrained several aurors who had just rushed into the room. Then in the shocked and angry eyes of the aurors, he spoke with a relaxed and comfortable smile. Mr. Aurors, please wait a moment for me to finish speaking. As you know, I hate people interrupting me, so, please shut up. Why Crow's tone was gentle though. There were no ripples. But it fell into the ears of the aurors. But it was like a bolt from the blue. Make their faces turn livid. At the same time, his face turned a little pale. It wasn't that he was frightened by what Crow said. But, I was frightened by the murderous intent in Crow's eyes. Why are there such horrible people? A teenager. How could he have such crazy killing intent? Crow is crazy. They are all aurors from the Ministry of Magic. Crow actually wanted to kill them? Absolutely a lunatic. A strong emotion of fear detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected rich. The duel competition used to be a very great competition. I think everyone knows this, right? What a glorious thing it was to win the championship of the duel competition. But now, I don't know since when, the duel competition has changed. Countless direct descendants of pure-blood families hire dark wizards to eliminate powerful opponents for themselves and take the opportunity to win the championship. Crow sat cross-legged on the basilisk's head. Set off by the dark green light of the patron saint basilisk. He appeared as if the snake god had descended. Plus he's sitting on top of Snake Melon's head. The basilisk stood up again. So his position is very high. The audience below could only raise their heads. Only then could he barely see Crow's figure. But with the blessing of the amplifying spell, Crow's voice, it spread throughout the entire duel venue very easily. At the same time, it was transmitted to everyone's ears very clearly. Everyone's expressions changed after hearing Crow's words. Cat. Although the shady story of the duel competition is something everyone knows. But Crow said it so directly. It's something they can't even imagine. Or no one can imagine it. Why does Crow say this? Does he really want to offend the Ministry of Magic and the pure-blood family to death? This man is really a lunatic. Although we can guess that he wants to expose the dirt behind the duel competition, is it really worth it for him to do so? Listening to what he just said, it seems that he agreed to the request of the professor at Hogwarts and came here to participate in the duel competition. The purpose should be to bring the duel competition back to its former glory. But, this can really be done, are you here? It's not that professor, that's Professor Flitwick. The professor of charms at Hogwarts and the Dean of Ravenclaw. The most important thing is that he was once the champion of the duel competition. The real champion. No matter who that person is, I simply want to know, is it really worth it for Crow to do this? Is it just a promise to others and have to go to this point? Tisk. Why do you promise others? This kid obviously just wants to gain fame. Otherwise, why would he say this in public? And you don't really think that someone can do this for the sake of an agreement, do you? Why not? Just because you can't do it yourself doesn't mean that others can't do it either. If you're too afraid to say it yourself, don't open your mouth to ridicule those brave people, because you don't deserve it at all. The discussion in the audience was lively. Will there be quarrels? Some people think Crow does this simply for fame and fortune. Some people think so. Crow is already a celebrity. Why do you do something that seems to be of no benefit at all? People on both sides hold their own opinions. It's so noisy that you come and I go. In the venue of the entire duel competition, they were all drowned out by the noisy sound. Even if someone is trying to start a fight. But it was all in vain. No one on either side would give in to the other. The former feels that the other party is hypocritical. It's obviously for fame and fortune. The latter felt that the other party did not have the courage to speak. And they ridiculed those who dared to speak. Both sides looked down on each other. I can't wait to take off my shoes. Slap the opponent hard on the face. A strong emotion of approval is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Intense, soil detected. Chapter 141. Everyone, please be quiet. I haven't finished what I said. It doesn't matter whether you argue or slap the sole of your shoe on the other person's face, but I hope you will do it after I have finished speaking. Crow's voice echoed throughout the duel competition venue. It was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. Everyone was still arguing. It suddenly became quiet. All of them are like good babies. Shut your mouth and stop talking. Even those who are jealous of Crow. I think he is doing this because he is greedy for fame and fortune. Everyone stopped talking. Why stop? Of course respect Crow. Admire his bravery and greatness. Look at him. A teenager. But like a god. The whole body is filled with dazzling light. Especially with the blessing of the patron saint Basilisk. This divine light. 2, 3, 0 becomes even more intense. Let them revere them even more. Of course. If there's a basilisk under Crow's A. No need to stare at them with those vertical pupils full of blood-devouring killing. Then they might have other ideas. But it's a pity. Crow's patron saint, the basilisk, has been watching them. In those dark green snake eyes. It is also full of killing and blood draining. As if they dared to say one more word, the basilisk will swallow them whole. Well, literally swallowed. Is it okay to swim in snake belly for a lifetime? So don't worry about being jealous of Crow. No matter how much you disagree with him. They didn't dare to speak anymore. What kind of bullshit joke are you kidding? Isn't it good to be alive? Sometimes it's cool and sometimes it's cool. I've been talking nonsense all my life. You can always be happy. So the first necessary condition. Just live. A strong sense of frustration is detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. Detected rich, listen to the system prompts. Look at the people below who are looking up at you. Crow touched his nose. The corners of his mouth raised slightly. Showing a satisfied smile. The elder wand was pressed against his neck again. His voice echoed throughout the duel venue again. I know that many of you think I am pretentious and that I did what I did today just for fame and fortune. What I want to say here is, whatever you think, an ant imagines what an elephant is thinking. But I don't know that I can't even compare to an elephant's daddy. Crow's mocking voice. The expressions of several people with evil intentions froze. But under the watchful eye of the patron saint Basilisk, they didn't dare to speak. Otherwise they can be sure. A lifetime of swimming in the snake's belly. They can definitely experience it. They couldn't refute it. He could only clench his fists in jealousy. He bowed his head silently. Cover up the murderous intent and hatred in your eyes. What? Cover it up for who to see? Well, show it to the drooling basilisk. Who else could it be? A strong feeling of jealousy is detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. Detected rich, I don't want to explain anything to you, so whatever you think. I will continue to say what I say, and you listen quietly. I don't want anyone to interrupt me. Crow sat cross-legged on top of the basilisk. System notifications kept ringing in my mind. Just a few minutes is the time. He obtained dozens of gold treasure chests. And nearly 100 silver treasure chests. And hundreds of bronze treasure chests. But he didn't really care. He is no longer the person who got the diamond treasure chest. You can make your little baby so excited. But a man who pursues a mythical treasure chest. The ultimate reason for the decline of dueling competitions is that the power of pure-blood families has reduced dueling competitions to their playthings. Of course, there is also the inaction of the Ministry of Magic. I know that what I say will definitely anger the pure-blood families and the Ministry of Magic, but I don't like to hide it. I can still tell you bluntly. The Ministry of Magic is just a dog raised by the pure-blood families. An obedient, wagging tail, begging for rewards from its owner, a licking dog. Crow doesn't hold back. Don't wait for the people below to argue. He just kept talking. The original intention of establishing the Ministry of Magic was good, but now, it has long been rotten. The wizarding world is getting worse year by year, but they don't want to solve it, but think about. One for themselves. Master is wagging his tail. Oh God, I think even if Merlin comes, he will probably shake his head. Let's not talk about other places, just talk about the duel competition. I think you also know how glorious the duel competition was in the past. Compared with the current duel competition, how bleak it is. Crow finished. The voice gradually became serious. There was also a little anger mixed in with it. No longer sitting cross-legged on the snake's head. Instead, stand up. Standing on top of the snake's head. The root cause of all this is that the Ministry of Magic turns a blind eye. They set the rules themselves, but they break them themselves. So what's the point of having these rules? Are the rules just to restrict ordinary wizards? Look at the original protagonist of our youth group duel competition, look at him. Our Mr. J. Shafik, the Shafik family doctor from the 28th Pureblood family. Crow held out the elder wand. Pointing condescendingly at Shafik. Everyone's eyes followed his wand. They all looked at Jair Shafik, who was huddled behind the sofa. See him trembling. There was disdain in their eyes. If I hadn't appeared, there is no doubt that the winner of your competition would be our Mr. Shafik. After all, he hired 2 dark wizards to help him clear the way. Based on my experience in these games, without me as a variable, either of these 2 dark wizards could have beaten the entire game. Crow paused. Everyone couldn't help but look up at him. No matter how angry they are. Crow's tone of voice was full of scorn. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Dare to jump up and have a few words with Crow. Intense, detected. What sense? But there isn't any. You know, right? The guys who are participating in the duel competition now are all 4.3. They are a bunch of ghosts and monsters. To be honest, they should stay in the trash can with the trash. It also made the contestants below look at each other. It all became a joke. A strong feeling of resentment is detected, words spoken. What anger! This is a duel competition, not their blind date meeting, and it's not a place for them to have fun. A group of people whose strength is not as good as the fun of first-year students, what kind of competition do you expect them to bring? Is that kind of thing as powerful as the gaze of the patron Saint Basilisk? Under the cold gaze of the Basilisk. Chapter 142. The existence of the Ministry of Magic was originally to allow us to live a better life and lead the wizarding world to a better future. But now, the meaning of the Ministry of Magic has changed. Instead of leading the wizarding world to a better future, they are polluting the wizarding world. Sooner or later, the Ministry of Magic will drag the wizarding world into the abyss. Crow's mouth is full of lotus flowers. The people below were stunned for a moment. Even a few orators. They were all fascinated by Crow's speech. Everyone wanted to follow Crow. Overthrow the evil rule of the Ministry of Magic. Give the wizarding world a bright future. But some people are happy and some are sad. People's joys and sorrows are never the same. People's IQs are never the same either. The group of people Crow could fool were stunned for a while. But he couldn't fool Flitwick and the others. What does he want to do? Professor Flitwick, are you sure your student wants to save the wizarding competition? Are you sure he doesn't want to lead these guys to overthrow the Ministry of Magic? Lyre's expression was extremely solemn. The old face was also tightly wrinkled. If Flitwick hadn't stopped him, he might have rushed down long ago. He might still choose to believe Crow at first. After all, the duel competition can be restored to its current state. Thanks to Crow. But it's different now. Things Crow does. He could no longer remain calm. Such brainwashing remarks. You said Crow was gathering his men. Prepare to become the new Dark Lord. It is possible to start a riot in the wizarding world. Or anyone listen to Crow. Everyone will think that he is going to rebel. After all, what he said was too inflammatory. It is also very capable of bewitching the anger in other people's hearts. Why anger? Those people below have red eyes. The audience wanted to tear the Ministry of Magic into pieces. This is the best proof. Calm down, old man, calm down. Trust Crow, okay? For my sake, believe him for once. He will definitely not let us down. Definitely not. Professor Flitwick dragged Lyles. She spoke to him with a sincere look on her face. Lyles hesitated for a moment, turning around to look at Crow standing on the snake's head. Look at the excited audience below. Confusion flashed in his eyes. We are old. After so many years of hard work, there is no result at all. Even if your son-in-law became the Minister of Magic, he did not help us stretch the dueling competition to its previous peak. He doesn't even have the courage to punish this group of pure-blood families. I may have guessed what Crow meant by doing this. The wizarding world needs a storm. A storm that can sweep away all the filth. Professor Flitwick spoke. His expression became enlightened. Jin subconsciously retracted Lyre's hand. Turn around and walk to the railing. Take advantage of the emptiness between the railings. Through your own eyes. He looked at Crow's figure with a complicated expression. Lyles hesitated for a moment. Still didn't choose to go out. Instead, he walked to Flitwick's side. Watch Crow's figure with him. Why didn't you go down? Are you kidding me? He had been carried away before. Wake up now. Go down and stop Crow? Then it's all thanks to his ancestors' merit that he didn't get drowned by these people's Tomozingzi. If I'm not mistaken, Crow wants to use this group of people here to let the Ministry of Magic know that if they continue to leave pure-blood families alone, sooner or later they will cause a riot. And the way to provoke this riot is very simple. All it takes is a few words to make them feel like they're being treated unfairly, and this group of people will go crazy. I don't think anyone wants to be treated unfairly, at least not me. Professor Flitwick's voice was a little erratic. His eyes were full of complexity. As a little leprechaun, he has always been unpopular. I have experienced too many injustices. I have also experienced that kind of disapproval. There is no way to call the earth. Trim off Merlin's beard. The days when Merlin was still awake. If it weren't for years of studying, and a wealth of experience, I'm afraid he will also because of what Crow just said. He became dissatisfied with the Ministry of Magic. Even with this group of people. To overthrow the rule of the Ministry of Magic. Set off the third crisis in the wizarding world. And Crow will also become the third-generation Dark Lord. What do we do now? Even if we believe Crow and guess his intentions, so what? Do we just watch? Lyles looked worried. The tone was also extremely solemn. Looking at Crow's back standing on top of the giant snake's head. He momentarily. I don't even know how to express my feelings. At the same time in his heart. I also felt a strong sense of shock. Such a young age. It's so terrifyingly contagious. If one day he really wanted to overthrow the Ministry of Magic, there will definitely be a huge following. Follow him and sacrifice yourself to death. Of course. This is a big part of the reason. It's still the Ministry of Magic's doing. Flies don't bite seamless eggs. It seems that the Ministry of Magic really has no fault at all. It won't cause outrage at all. There is nothing inflammatory about Crow's words. So the bottom line is, it's still a Ministry of Magic problem. Wait. We can't do anything now. If we go out rashly, we might ruin Crow's plan. So we can only waiting for K. Chuan to complete his plan. Although I don't want to say this, but, old guy, please believe me this time. If Crow really does something wrong, then I, a teacher 803, will definitely try my best to stop it. Professor Flitwick turned his head. He finished speaking to Lyles with a serious look on his face. Bow to him sincerely. You, old guy, have trained yourself to be polite in so many years of teaching, haven't you? Even if you don't tell me, I will believe him. After all, he is our only hope. No. I think he should be the only hope of the wizarding world. Lyles laughed and scolded Professor Flitwick. They all laughed. The two old men changed their previous worries. I think you are right. This child, is indeed the future of the wizarding world. The wizarding world has long been decayed. Maybe he is the only one who can bring the wizarding world back to life. The tone is also very different from before. Jean Lyles was also in a trance for a moment. Professor Flitwick and Lyles looked at each other and smiled. But his body honestly helped Professor Flitwick up. He spoke with a serious look on his face. He couldn't help but smile widely. A strong emotion of anticipation is detected. After all, no one is bolder than him, right? And Professor Flitwick just got up. Looking at his old friend's serious expression. Look at Crow's back again. Words spoken. After pushing up the glasses. Intense, detected. Get reward, Diamond Treasure Box. Chapter 143. Duel Competition Venue. There was a huge crowd at this time. All the wizards raised their wands. Roaring at the top of his lungs. We should resist. Overthrow the corrupt Ministry of Magic and establish a new Ministry of Magic. Resist. Resist. Waves of hoarse shouts resounded throughout the venue. At the same time, it also reached the ears of Crow and others. The children looked strange. Look at each other a few times. Didn't say much. He just silently protected the Grangers behind him. And Mr. and Mrs. Granger. He looked confused. They don't understand. Just now I was listening to some women's gossip. So next second. Has it become the scene of a large-scale uprising? What confused them the most? Why the person who led the uprising? Is it Crow? An 11-year-old child? Leading a group of wizards in an uprising? Didn't they wake up? The wizarding world is indeed a very magical place. Mr. and Mrs. Granger looked at each other silently. The corners of his mouth were twitching. If placed in the Muggle world. Not to mention how much trouble an 11-year-old child can cause. It's a miracle how many people listen to what he says. Let alone now. It made everyone's blood boil. I can't wait to follow him and rush out to destroy the Ministry of Magic. Although they don't know where the Ministry of Magic is. But judging from the name, you can guess it. This should be the department that manages the wizarding world. So Crow their move. It's really no different from rebellion. The wizarding world is indeed magical, but I can guarantee that this matter has nothing to do with the magic of the wizarding world. You may not know how strong Crow's brainwashing ability is, but I can tell you, he is very strong. Super strong. Hermione's mouth twitched a few times. He looked at each other with incomprehensible expressions. Then he spoke to Mr. and Mrs. Granger. Crow had obtained the first-class badge of Sir Merlin not long ago, and the Daily Prophet even reported on him on the front page. Therefore, he is very famous in the wizarding world, and even once caught up with Harry Potter. Oh Harry Potter, you should know, right? The boy who survived is also our classmate. He also has another identity, the savior of the wizarding world. According to the book, he defeated the mysterious man. Pansy educates the ignorant Grangers about science. Told them the story of Harry Potter. Why does she know the story of Harry Potter? Are you kidding me? The legend of Harry Potter. But they have heard it since they were little. Don't say you know. They can even recite it backwards and forwards. Well, it's not just Pansy they're talking about. But the young wizards in the entire wizarding world. Basically all the little wizards. They all regard Harry Potter as their idol. After all, a peer. It is indeed a legend. Theirs? Still thinking about what to eat next? Crow's words are very contagious, especially to those who have been treated unfairly. Crow's words ignited the anger in their hearts, their dissatisfaction with the Ministry of Magic, and their dissatisfaction with the pureblood family. In a sense, Crow's words are like a key, opening the cage that holds their anger and resentment. So now they can be said to have lost their minds. Cassandra looked serious. His brows were also furrowed tightly. She wasn't worried about anything else. Just pure fear. Crow made such a big fuss. The Ministry of Magic and the pureblood families. I'm afraid he will kill Crow. After all, they would not allow anyone to challenge their majesty. What worried her the most? Or their families are far away in the beautiful country. The family's power is not here either. In case of an accident, the Worleys probably can't protect Crow. Just take it one step at a time, Crow won't do anything you're not sure about. Cassandra sighed to herself. Say a few words to yourself secretly in your heart. But Crow is making too much noise this time, isn't it? This place is not far from the Ministry of Magic, and I'm afraid it won't be long before there will be Aurors outside. I'm afraid Crow has no chance of winning against Aurors. We should think of ways to help him. We can't just stay here and do nothing. Hermione pursed her red lips. Crow looked worriedly at the field. This incident caused such a big fuss. The Ministry of Magic will surely notice. The Aurors probably won't be around for long. This place will be surrounded. Crow may be powerful. It is powerful enough to be praised by many professors. But no matter how powerful a person is. After all, it's just one person. Aurors coming from outside. Certainly not one or two. When the time comes, no matter how strong Crow is, he will be strong. You can't beat more than a dozen Aurors, right? That's an Auror. Maybe even an elite Auror. A single one is powerful enough. Let alone a group of them. I can't say it's almost here. I think it's already here. Aurors are not ordinary people. They are extremely proficient in apparition and can even teleport over long distances. What's more, what happened this time happened here, so close to the Ministry of Magic. The Aurors must have surrounded the people outside, but they didn't rush in because they didn't know the situation inside the room. Luna looked up. Correct the errors in Hermione's words calmly. At the end of the day. His own brows also furrowed tightly. But when the Aurors broke in, they must have made a plan. In this case, they would probably kill Crow directly. As you know, their control of lethal magic is far better than ordinary people. People. Luna's words. The atmosphere instantly became tense. The faces of the women became gloomy. Mr. and Mrs. Granger also looked ugly. Say 1,000 words and 10,000 words. They have long regarded Crow as their own child. Even if Crow did. But their feelings for Crow haven't dissipated much. What's more, this time it's not a joke. It's a life and death crisis. The couple looked at each other helplessly. He lowered his head somewhat decadently. Things in the wizarding world. They can't help at all. Not to mention helping to solve the problem. Don't cause trouble to your children. These are extremely rare things. Not to mention that this time things are so big. You don't have to worry too much, I believe Crow will be careful. Don't forget, he has been under the protection of the patron saint from the beginning to the end. Yes. The patroness charm is the most powerful defensive magic and can definitely protect Crow's safety. I almost forgot about this. No wonder the Aurors outside didn't come in for a long time. I'm afraid they saw that Crow was under the protection of the patron saint and couldn't kill him directly, so they didn't rush in. The children looked at each other a few times. They laughed at each other and shook their heads. A tense atmosphere disappeared in an instant. A strong feeling of worry is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Intense, detected. Chapter 144. A constant reminder in my head. The corners of Crow's mouth raised slightly. It seems that his status in the hearts of several women is quite good. Then he shook his head again. Not that I thought of anything. I just want to get rid of the distracting thoughts in my mind. Does the tyranny of the Ministry of Magic have anything to do with us? The answer is definitely yes. But do we want to overthrow them? Is it good to do so? Who can guarantee that after overthrowing them, the new Ministry of Magic will not be like them? Crow's words resonate deeply. Let everyone who originally looked up to the sky roar. They all stopped roaring. Everyone looked at each other. Everyone thinks what Crow said makes sense. Merlin's beard, I almost forgot about this. If the new Ministry of Magic is still like this, then what's the point of doing this? How could it be meaningless? If the new Ministry of Magic is like this, the worst we can do is overthrow it again. Anyway, I don't want to receive this kind of unfair treatment anymore. You have such a wonderful idea, just for us alone. Let alone overthrowing the Ministry of Magic, whether we can get out today is a question. Hey? What do you mean? What do you mean by going out? There are so many of us, who can't be afraid of us. Hey, don't forget, how close is this place to the Ministry of Magic? If we make such a noise, the Aurors from the Ministry of Magic may have surrounded this place. Surrounded? Don't be alarmist here, 197. I mean, if it is really surrounded, why not rush in? Aren't you still afraid of us? There are so many of us, what are you afraid of? That's what it says, but... There is nothing but, Only by overthrowing the Ministry of Magic can we get fair treatment. Only by overthrowing them can the wizarding world have a future. People in the audience kept arguing. Someone has gone completely crazy. I wish I could tear the Ministry of Magic apart. Most of them have suffered unfair treatment. So they are far crazier than others. Among the crowd, only a few people are sane. See the current situation clearly. They are so right. But aren't there many people in the Ministry of Magic? There are hundreds of them. According to the Ministry of Magic. Maybe not even a threat. Important point. What are their strengths? What are the strengths of the Aurors at the Ministry of Magic? Not to mention an elite Auror. I'm afraid there are several hundred of them. Face off with 2 or 3 elite Aurors. They will lose miserably. Very miserable. Why is it miserable? The best thing for rebelling is to be imprisoned in Azkaban. So can it not be miserable? If it were any worse. BJCD, it is possible to die without a complete body. And the possibility is extremely high. Those Aurors don't care whether you are wronged or not. They just know. You want to rebel. And their mission. It's you who suppress the rebellion. No matter life or death. This won't work? That won't work? Then when do you want it to work? Are you guys so cowardly? Or do you think that if we don't do anything, the Ministry of Magic will let us go? Don't be naive anymore. If the Ministry of Magic really sends Aurors to surround this place, it means they know what is going on here. Do you think those Aurors are here just for Crow, among the crowd? A strong man pushed away the crowd. He looked around at both sides of the argument with disdain. Say the words. Both sides fell into silence immediately. Especially the rational side. How could they not think of this? If the Aurors are already here. That means the Ministry of Magic already knows about this. Even if they say that they have no uneasy thoughts. Will the Ministry of Magic really listen? Or did they listen or the Ministry of Magic? Why does the Ministry of Magic cause so much public outrage? Isn't it because they are unfair? This thing today. If you are from a pure blood family, the Ministry of Magic may turn a blind eye. He silently regarded the incident as a matter of course. But if they were muggles and half-bloods, the Ministry of Magic will definitely not let them go. Even after catching them. Let major newspapers rush to report on it. By then the whole wizarding world will be. Everyone knows that the Ministry of Magic put down a riot. And the Ministry of Magic. It will definitely smear them as ambitious dark wizards. The Ministry of Magic itself is the hero who put down the unrest among dark wizards. Even if they are still alive then. Not yet imprisoned in Azkaban. The ending is already determined. There will no longer be a place for them in the wizarding world. No matter what, let's see what Crow says first. Since he brought this matter up, he must have a way to solve it. After all, he is also one of us, and he is the leader. One of them sighed helplessly. Turning everyone's attention back to Crow. Even if you already know that this is a dead end. But they still have a glimmer of hope. After all, when they started. They are just spectators who come to watch the fun. Just unconsciously. Crow stirred up resentment in his heart. That's why it evolved into this. But things have happened. It's useless for them to regret it. We can only place our hope on Crow. Crow was responsible for this after all. He said so much. Do so much. You can't possibly want to trick everyone, right? No one wants to die. They believe that Crow definitely doesn't want to die either. So he must have a solution. Even if there is no way to overthrow the Ministry of Magic. There is definitely a way for them to escape. Just get out of here. Return to the vast world of the wizarding world. They can escape all pursuit. Even if someone from the Ministry of Magic caught him. They can also deny it even to death. What? Legilimency? Are they fools? Keep these memories waiting for the Ministry of Magic to retrieve them? Give yourself something to forget about when you go out. Completely forget what happened here. Could it be that the Ministry of Magic could find anything else in their memories? If you can use legilimency. Extract the memory here in advance. Then just throw it away. Is there nothing the Ministry of Magic can do differently? Do they still have the ability? Pansy spread her hands helplessly. The Ministry of Magic will not tell you any evidence. At worst, it will be reported by major newspapers and describe them as heinous dark wizards. They also have no way to refute it. That is a lost memory. They couldn't help but look at each other. I mean, Azkaban should have no way of contacting the outside world. Crow, are you not trying to use this stupid method? I don't think this is a good idea. After all, the Ministry of Magic, even if they have no memory, they will definitely be imprisoned by the Ministry of Magic. Do not make jokes. A strong emotion of anticipation is detected. Intense, detected. The children also shook their heads helplessly. Such a simple thing. Why doesn't anyone understand? The women at the front of the crowd also thought of this. Get reward, silver treasure chest. Then the lost memory is restored? Unless you force one in. How do you recover? The corners of his mouth couldn't stop twitching. Chapter 145. Hogwarts. A sneeze. A sneeze echoed in the principal's office. This caused Grindelwald, who was closing his eyes to rest, to cast a death gaze on Dumbledore. Hey, you know, sneezing is not something I can control. In fact, even if I could bear it, it would be an extremely comfortable thing to do. And I guess this is my office. Professor Garrett, I think you should go back to your office. I mean, I would be very reserved if you were here all the time. Dumbledore adjusted his glasses. He spread his hands helplessly towards Grindelwald. At the same time, he persuaded him to return to his office. Where did Grindelwald get his office? Well, he's also a professor at Hogwarts after all. Even if he was once the Dark Lord. Need to be supervised at all times. But this is Hogwarts. And it's still Hogwarts without students. Let Grindelwald go to his office to rest. Not only will it not harm the students, nor will it cause unrest. Grindelwald couldn't escape. Of course. He didn't want to run away from Hogwarts either. Otherwise, he would have escaped long ago. And left him in his office. Obviously not a good choice. Especially when they used to. So Dumbledore chose. Drive Grindelwald into his own office. This can be regarded as a sideways statement with Grindelwald. He did not imprison him. He was also not monitored. He is still a free man. Forget the office, I think it's pretty good here, at least there are a lot of books. Of course, if you give up this room as my office, you can go to my office by yourself. I mean, let's exchange offices. If so, I will be very happy. Grindelwald put down the book. He tilted his head and looked at Juan Laduo in a funny way. As the former Dark Lord. Still someone who knew Dumbledore so well. How could he not know the underlying meaning of Dumbledore's words? It's nothing more than telling yourself. He did not imprison himself. There is no restriction on one's own freedom. But he didn't care about that. He didn't find out until he came to Hogwarts. It turns out that this wizarding world. Something to rekindle his interest. You can work hard for it. It gave him a new goal again. A very great goal. That's teaching. Learn how to mess with Dumbledore. How to enjoy life. See how much Dumbledore enjoys it. Then I think of myself huddled in a corner a few years ago. A miserable look. Grindelwald was so angry that he slapped himself twice. When I huddled in the corner and blew the cold wind. Dumbledore was enjoying his life. When I am feeling decadent and desperate. Dumbledore was still enjoying it. There were strange flavored beans in his mouth. Compare the two items. It seems like the last person to get hurt. Only he himself is the same. Of course. He didn't want to go to his office. But a fundamental willingness to squeeze into Dumbledore's headmaster's office. Or because of Dumbledore. FTB. The decor in his office is awesome. He was satisfied with every aspect. Especially these sofas and recliners. It makes people unable to get off once they sit on it. To put it plainly. Dumbledore's office was more comfortable. Suitable for laying flat. My office isn't looking good. Not suitable for display. Grindelwald explained secretly in his mind. The object of explanation is still himself. In fact, only he himself knows it. The reason why I don't want to leave. It's not just for show off and enjoyment. Of course. It's really comfortable to lay flat on your back. But that's not the real reason. The reason why he didn't want to leave Dumbledore's office. Still don't want to be separated from Dumbledore. Do not misunderstand. They are all so old. Even if you have those dirty thoughts. He no longer has the ability to do dirty things. The real reason why he didn't want to be separated from Dumbledore. It's because I'm afraid. Years of loneliness and despair. The majestic and heroic Dark Lord of the past has been worn away. The feeling of loneliness. It once made him doubt his life. Until the final moment of complete numbness. What I experienced in this. Far more than others imagine. Especially after he experienced the feeling of being accompanied. I am even more afraid of returning to the lonely state before. Not to mention. Look at Dumbledore being angry. But he couldn't help himself. Very interesting indeed. Isn't it? Grindelwald chuckled a few times. Picking up the steaming black tea on the side. Take a couple of sips. Warm hot tea flows into your body. Grindelwald couldn't help but collapsed on the sofa comfortably. The whole person is like a salted fish. He didn't even want to move his fingers. Oh, do you know what you look like now? It's like a full seal, but you can't pat your belly. I mean, if you pat your belly, you'll look exactly like a seal. Do you want to try it? Dumbledore looked at Grindelwald expectantly. Compare this to the scrawny appearance of Grindelwald when he first saw him. Grindelwald at this time. The food at Hogwarts is quite rich. Grindelwald has gained a lot of weight. Even my belly is a little bulging. Hey! I wouldn't do such a stupid thing. And don't call me one of those stupid creatures. Grindelwald rolled his eyes speechlessly. After complaining a few words about Dumbledore. Just stop paying attention to him. Instead, he turned his head and continued to focus on the book. Haven't come out in a few years. There are actually so many magic books out there. Especially that person whose name is. He wrote that auto-rotation. Quite pretty. Although those dangers are ordinary to him. But it is undeniable that the rotation he wrote is quite interesting. Grindelwald rubbed his chin. The cloudy eyes flickered slightly. If I could write an autobiography myself. That will definitely be a big seller, right? After all, contrast these children's adventures in playing house. The things that I have experienced. It can be called a real adventure. 00 I really think you should give it a try, and seals aren't stupid, they just look stupid. Well, I'll leave it alone. Dumbledore refused to give up and wanted to persuade him a few more words. As a result, I saw Grindelwald looking at him like a dead man. He shut his mouth very wisely. But the regret on his face was beyond words. Albus, I think I should tell you. Grindelwald hasn't finished speaking yet. But he stopped talking. Frowning, he turned to look out the window. I don't think this is a problem. Dumbledore reached out to catch the flying owl. After passing the letter in the owl's hand. Then he fed a few biscuits to the owl. The owl flapped its wings and left with great satisfaction. It's actually a letter from the Ministry of Magic? Let me see. Oh no. I think we may be in trouble, or that Kid Barrow is in trouble. Dumbledore opened the envelope. Look at the content above. The smile on his face gradually disappeared. Grindelwald put down his book. Then let's go, I really want to meet those people from my hometown after seeing the two people leaving. Detected Rich, on. Just grab him by the sleeve. Finally, his face turned livid. His brows were also furrowed tightly. I think we should go to the Ministry of Magic. The two figures disappeared into the room instantly. Fawkes opened his eyes lazily when he heard the movement. He closed his eyes lazily again. But Dumbledore didn't answer. Get reward, diamond treasure box. Wave the wand a few times. Grindelwald deliberately joked. Dumbledore looked a little angry. A strong feeling of doubt is detected. He also understood the seriousness of the matter. Chapter 146. Duel Competition Venue. Crow sat cross-legged on top of the basilisk's head. He played with the wand boredly in his hand. At this time, the basilisk had already lay down. Crow, who sat on top of the basilisk, had become as tall as everyone else. Everyone no longer has to look up at Crow. This also relieved their somewhat sore necks. But they were still just staring at Crow. Except for the sound of breathing throughout the venue. There is no other noise. Occasionally someone makes a noise. It will also draw glares from those around you. Everyone at this time. Everyone is waiting for Crow to make a decision. Or rather, waiting for him to think of a solution. Think of a way, to save them all. After all, no one wants to die. I don't want to be defined as a vicious dark wizard by the Ministry of Magic. Then he was sent to Azkaban. Otherwise, say 617. In fact, death is also a good choice. In the auditorium, several people had determination shining in their eyes. They've made their decision. Once the Aurors break in, then they choose to die. Compare it to death. The terror of Azkaban. It's obviously more scary. Hey, I just remembered that our duel competition is not over yet, right? There is no difference in the outcome, but I promised Professor Flitwick that I would give him a championship medal back. I just didn't expect so many things to happen, so I didn't want to waste any more time. But after all, it's something that was promised, and it still has to be done. It's not a good thing to break one's word. Crow yawned. Jump off the head of the patron basilisk. The basilisk seemed to serve his purpose. Move your body a few times. The space becomes larger when the coil is rolled up. It even exceeded the original size of the arena. Crow stood in the middle of the ring. He tilted his head and looked at the Paleja in a funny way. Mr. Shafik, I think it will be just the two of us in the final. After all, if nothing else happens, the original final was also played between the two of us. I know you won't refuse, right? I forgot to tell you, I don't like it. People who surrender. But my patron Saint Basilisk is different. It likes people who surrender. Because which ones taste more delicious, you know what I mean, right? Yes, I am threatening you, so hurry up and come on stage, sham Mr. Fick. Crow pointed at the basilisk behind him, smiling and speaking to Jair Shafik. At the same time, he made an invitation to fight gesture with his hands. What kind of invitation to fight? It's you who reaches out. Give the person you want to invite a fight a few clicks. If conditions permit. Add a mantra. Come here. As long as the other person is not a fool. I will definitely know what you mean. So this is a very pure invitation to fight. Oh, Merlin's beard. At this time, Crow is still thinking about the duel. It's. What a great person. He will still abide by the agreement under such circumstances. How many people in the entire wizarding world can do this? But Crow. As a teenage boy, he did this. So he is a very great person? It seems that what you said has nothing to do with greatness, right? Or am I wrong in my understanding? How can you not be great? Can you do the same as Crow? Can you choose to fulfill your promise first when you are surrounded by Aurors and know that your life is in danger? It seems impossible. When you put it that way, Crow seems to be really great. It should be called Lord Crow. I firmly believe that Lord Crow will bring changes to the wizarding world. And he will definitely succeed. Lord Crow. Long live. Lord Crow. Long live. Master Crow. Give birth to a monkey. I don't know who shouted. Then others seemed to be possessed. Started chanting along. Waves of deafening shouts echoed in the venue. There were also exclamations of admiration from several girls. Well, such as Sarah who has recovered. At this time, her eyes were glowing green when she looked at Crow. He shouted excitedly. Master Crow. I'm giving birth to a monkey. What kind of rubbish eyebrow pencil? Can it be compared to Master Crow's smile? Are you kidding me? She actually compared the trash to Master Crow? This is simply too sinful. Sarah pinched herself hard several times. He cursed himself in anger. Then he continued shaking his hands. Followed by the crowd chanting Crow's name. Why did she change so quickly? Times have changed. Only by adapting to the times. Only then can we live better. Just adapt to the times. They can obtain the favor of Master Crow. I talked to Lord Crow, and you don't know how nice Lord Crow's voice is. Oh, now that I think of that voice, I feel my ears numb. Sarah proudly showed off to the little sisters around her. The little sisters around her immediately cast envious glances at her. Sarah, please, can you tell us more about Mr. Crow? What perfume does he wear? What is his personality like? The most important thing, does he have 8-pack ABS? What 8-pack ABS? It's so superficial. I just want to ask how I can give Master Crow a monkey? Of course, I'm not coveting Master Crow, it's just. I just feel that Lord Crow, such an outstanding person, shouldn't even have an heir. I think if there is an heir, Lord Crow will no longer have to worry about anything. I don't think anyone can handle this difficult task except me. Yes, it's inheritance, hey? What do you mean? What do you mean that no one else is qualified except you? Do I have a missing nose or eyes? Or do you mean that I'm not as good as you? It's true that you don't have a nose or eyes, but your appearance, haha. What do you mean hee? You want to fight, don't you? Damn it. Master Crow is my salad. The plastic friendship between Sarah and her girls. Literally strangled to death. What kind of friendship? I wish I could strangle the other person to death. Originally it was just a battle between two women. One pulled the hair. You are the one who deserves to die. Die for me. It instantly turned into a big melee. What difficulties should we share together in blessings? In the end, they even got into a fight. 5.0 Get reward, gold treasure chest. Intense, detected. The other hand was pinching his neck. Go to hell. Hey, stop hitting her. Hit her head and blow up her baby granary. I've seen her fake food storage in the granary a long time ago. Catch her hard. Is it important to have Crow's favor? A strong sense of excitement is detected. Don't fight. If you want to fight, stop for a moment and let me get in. And I want to say, Lord Crow is mine. Instantly becomes fragmented. Chapter 147. Compared to the excited girls, Ja is much more miserable. After hearing what Crow said, feel the sight of people around you. Ja was so panicked that he almost had his pants in his pocket. I admit, what should I do? It's over, Crow will definitely kill me. He hates the pureblood family so much, and I did that kind of thing, now it's completely over. He wanted to throw in the towel. But I think of what Crow said earlier. And keep staring at him. The basilisk patron saint is eyeing him. The words that made him admit defeat came back to his stomach. He didn't want to experience the snake belly tour of his life. Helpless J. I could only walk back and forth anxiously. No matter how he goes. No one thought of any solution. Just when he was desperate to get into the ring. Suddenly he saw two dark wizards beside him. A moment. J felt as if he had grasped a life-saving straw. He hurriedly ran to the two dark wizards. He spoke to the two of them unceremoniously. His hands were raised high, pointing at their noses fiercely. I spent so many gold galleons to hire you. You must protect me. If I die, you won't get a single gold galleon. Remember. Don't even get a single one of 19. Jer's tone was extremely irritable. Impatience is mixed with fear. He was already desperate. Throughout the venue, no one should be able to help me. If there really is one. No need to think about it. It must be these two hired dark wizards. After all, they are on the same road. And these two are also dark wizards. After Crow finished dealing with him, the finger will definitely be pointed at these two people. So that's all he can think of at the moment. Just unite two people. Or ordered two people to take the field in his place. He didn't want to fight Crow. Otherwise, he might not have played yet. Just put it in your pants pocket. Why pull? I've been going a little too far lately. Can't hold it anymore. As for what goes too far, this cannot be said. Hey man, don't you think it would be fun to duel with Crow? Why should we seek death when we can live? Mr. Shafik, I think you should move your hand away, otherwise, we will help you move it. It is impossible to help you duel with Crow, it is absolutely impossible. Two overmature 18-year-old boys met and smiled. After high-fiving each other, they all crossed their arms. He looked at Shafik, who looked desperate. It's good that we brothers have no money, but we are poor with backbone, and poor with confidence. If we are poor, we have a way to live in poverty, and if we are rich, we haven't experienced it yet. But we won't risk our lives in a duel with Crow just for the sake of gold galleons. After all, there is a life but no money to spend, and there is a money but no life to spend. We still think the former will. 5,000 gold galleons. I will give you 5,000 gold galleons. As long as you can help me. The two brothers haven't finished speaking yet. Shafik is yeah. He stretched out a hand to the two of them. This moment, the two brothers' words were immediately suppressed. What's the point of having a life but no money to spend it well? Okay? Well, It's really good. If the money is gone, you can make it again. Life is gone. Then there is really nothing. After the two brothers struggled for a while, he looked at Shafik hesitantly. Mr. Shafik, you know the strength of our two brothers. I'm afraid we are no match for Crow. Not to mention that the duel is a solo fight. I'm afraid we won't be Crow's match if we fight together. I'm sorry Mr. Shafik, money is indeed very, to us. The two of them didn't know that they were explaining it to J. I still haven't finished explaining to myself. He was interrupted by Jer's impatient wave. Of course. It's not that he's impatient. Crow's patron saint, the basilisk. I still want to be hungry. The look in his eyes. They all became salivating. It seems like the next second it will rush up. Swallow yourself into your belly in one gulp. It's like forcing yourself to take a lifetime trip to the snake's belly. This made him panic and anxious. He raised his hands directly. He gritted his teeth and spoke to the two of them. 5,000 gold galleons each. 10,000 gold galleons in total. If you don't agree, then We agreed. Don't worry, Mr. Shafik, we will definitely complete the task. This time it was Jer's turn to be confused. His threatening words had not yet been spoken. His hands were grabbed by the two brothers and held tightly in their arms. At the same time, she assured him sincerely. He said this without waiting for his reaction. The two brothers looked at each other. His eyes were full of determination. Brother! I've had enough of living a life with no money to spend. Even if I risk everything, I still want to take a gamble to see if I can live a life with life and money to spend. Brother! You are so right. We are just one or two untouchables. Instead of waiting to be liquidated, we might as well take a gamble. The two finished talking. He drew out his wand at the same time. Turn over and jump directly out of the auditorium. After relying on the floating spell to cross the basilisk's body, the two made it to the ring successfully. The two brothers stood side by side, staring at Crow fiercely. The father who wanted to threaten us, Mr. Shafik. Just. That's wrong, brother, we are here for a duel, and you said the lines wrong. The two brothers broke through the defense in 1 second. After laughing a few times at Crow, he quickly turned around and started discussing this scene. Not only were the audience in the auditorium dumbfounded, Crow was also dumbfounded. There are also aurors who are monitoring this place. Outside the duel competition venue. At this time, it was surrounded by aurors. There are dozens of them. The leader. He is also an elite auror. Captain Samson, what are we going to do? They seem to be going to a duel, right? But why doesn't it look like it to me? Do you think they noticed something and deliberately put on a show for us? But what is their purpose of doing this? To relax our vigilance? Who knows? After all, this is a group of lunatics who dare to stand next to the Ministry of Magic and shout loudly to overthrow the rule of the Ministry of Magic. What are they not lunatics? And the leader, what is his name? It seems still a kid. Crow Wells. The new student of Slytherin at Hogwarts, known as the Little Devil of Hogwarts, is extremely good at playing pranks, and his talent is also very high, so much so that many professors refuse to punish him. The most important thing is that not long ago, at the age of 10, he obtained the first-class badge of the Sir Merlin Order. A real first-class badge. Dumbledore applied for it for him personally. Samson looked grim. Mouthed Crow's message. Just think about it more and more. His face became even worse. The same goes for several aurors behind him. Since he has received this honor, why did he want to overthrow the Ministry of Magic? Did the Ministry of Magic treat him badly? Now is not the time to think about this. We have to figure out how to subdue this kid first. Captain Samson, you have. Samson coldly interrupted his men's inquiries. Turning around and looking into the distance. An inexplicable smile appeared on his face. I think we should wait, our support will be here soon. Several aurors looked at each other for a few times. There are so many of them. You still need support? However, they did not dare to speak. Just keep your mouth shut silently. After all, Samson is not a good-tempered person. A strong emotion of fear detected. Get reward, Diamond Treasure Box. Intense detected. Chapter 148. Duel Competition Venue. Crow looked at the two brothers boredly. The corners of his mouth raised slightly. A slight smile appeared. I didn't go to you, but you just showed up at my door? Don't you know that I hate dark wizards? Or are you confident that you can agree to me? That's interesting. I won't take advantage of you, so I'll let you two come together. And I also asked none of you to cast 3 curses. But let me tell you the ugly things first, I will kill you. I mean, I will kill people. Well, you are the one who understands kind of murder. The 2 dark wizards heard this. The expression on his face suddenly turned bitter. The 2 brothers nodded to Crow. Then they hugged each other in disgust. If given a choice, of course, they will still take the order. Anyway, their identities have been exposed. Either death or Azkaban. Rather than that, might as well take a gamble. Won 10,000 gold galleons in gambling. From then on, he lived a prosperous life. Live a life of luxury. Enter senior life early. If you lose the bet, Crow kills both of them. They all have to die. But overall, risks and benefits are equal matters. The risk is high enough. The benefits can be big enough. So let's discuss it again. Crow's strength is really terrifying, comparable to those old dark wizards. What you said makes sense, and I think it's better to discuss it again. Although 10,000 gold galleons is a lot, it would be better if we could get it and still spend it. The 2 brothers hesitated for a long time. Still smiling at Crow and waving his hand. This time it's more direct. He squatted directly on the ground, drawing circles on the side. Let's discuss it. They are not afraid of death. I am also afraid of not having money. The kind that can only be had with butterbeer every day. Days when I can't even eat peanuts. They've had enough. So they have to discuss it again. After all, your life is yours. The gold galleons are not necessarily your own. The 2 brothers frowned and discussed furtively, glancing back at Crow from time to time. Seeing that he was not impatient, he didn't say anything to urge him. Then he relaxed and continued to discuss. A strong fear emotion is detected. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Detected rich, Crow tilted his head. He looked at the 2 dark wizard brothers in amusement. It was beyond his expectation that these 2 people could run up. After all, as long as you are not a fool. It was obvious that they couldn't beat him. In this case, choose to come up. It was probably Ja who used something to intimidate and induce them. But they are dark wizards after all. The possibility of coercion is low. The greater possibility should be inducement. But it can make them aware that there is danger here. But he still ran up. I'm afraid Ja paid a heavy price. It seems that the Shafik family is wealthy. You can pay a visit when you have time later. Crow rubbed his chin. His eyes flickered slightly. A good boy like myself. You must prepare gifts when visiting others. A large pure-blood family like Shafik. I don't care about those junk things at all. So what are you going to give them? Crow suddenly raised his head. With a kind smile on his face, he looked at Ja who was hiding behind the sofa with his head exposed. Their son would be a nice gift. But this is the case today. Let's give them a head ball. It should be considered a good gift, right? Zeal, who tilted his head to look this way, felt his gaze. Turning around, he saw Crow looking at him with a smile on his face. Ja was so frightened that he quickly shrank back behind the sofa. The whole person seemed to be possessed. Curling up and shivering. I guess it's not my problem. After all, Cassandra and the others are very satisfied with my appearance. It must be that this person doesn't know what he's selling. Yes, that's definitely the case. Crow looked at Jerry like a mouse seeing a cat. The corners of his mouth suddenly couldn't help but twitch. The friendly smile on his face could no longer be maintained. Are you kidding me? I managed to attract so many girls. Why does Shafik look like he saw a ghost? No need to think too much. It must be his problem. It has nothing to do with your good looks. Be sure to hold his head ball after waiting. Go visit his parents. Give his family a big surprise. Crow made a decision secretly. His face became a little better. It's not that he is vicious. Jair Shafik probably didn't do much wrong. Even if there is a fault, no need to pay the price with your life. B. Someone has to take the blame for today's incident. And what a pity. The protagonist of the youth group is Jair Shafik. If he didn't die, it wouldn't make any difference. Being disabled is also acceptable. The effect is exactly the same. The same can intimidate the Ministry of Magic. Of course there are pure-blood families. Role of Jair Shafik. In layman's terms, it's Kunkan. Kill Kunkan and show it to the monkey. Tell them from the side. No one dares to kill you. I dare. No one else dares to punish you. I'm too lazy to fix it. But if you mess with me, then I can't blame me. Don't kick your pure-blood families and the Ministry of Magic's heads around like a ball. Even your brains are not round enough. Woo. Have you finished the discussion? Do you know how long you have been discussing? If you want to fight, fight, if not, go down. It's not your turn to settle accounts yet, you can live a little longer. Kroll looked at the two dark wizard brothers coldly. What is anger? That's right. This is anger. Not only did he want to anger these two idiots. I'm going to pick off Jer's head later and use it as a ball. What does it mean to be crippled but not crippled? Wouldn't that be cruel? Can't you give him a happy one? Wouldn't it be better to just let him die? He looked like he had seen a ghost. He remembered. Crow holds the Elder Wand. Glaring at the two dark wizards. Let's ask Sir Wells for advice. Brother, why are you talking nonsense with him? Just kill him. I don't believe that a teenage brat is really strong enough to beat the two of us together. What is there to be afraid of? For a moment, the two of them were filled with anger. Is there any point in them being afraid anymore? Each could see the determination in the other's eyes. As a dark wizard, evil arises from courage. Get reward, gold treasure chest. Crow didn't even want to let them go. They have also killed people and passed on goods. Intense, detected. Then intense anger arose. They all stood up. Holding his wand and glaring at Crow. The two brothers heard Crow's words. The two brothers looked at each other for a few moments. His face suddenly turned pale. A strong feeling of resentment is detected. Now Crow actually doesn't give them a chance to survive. Chapter 149. Outside the duel competition venue. In freezing weather. Samson held his wand grimly. Stand quietly. Several other auras stood aside. No one said a word. Pedestrians passing by. They all stopped to watch this group of people. But they were all coaxed away by the aurors. The group of passers-by who stopped learned that they were aurors. Didn't dare to resist at all. I can only leave obediently. This is an auror. Not to mention the power. The strength is also ridiculously strong. And they are also proficient in all kinds of powerful black magic. Including the 3 unforgivable curses. So many retired aurors. In the end, they all became evil dark wizards. There are only a few. Withstood the erosion of the 3 unforgivable curses. But this is a minority after all. Most of them have become evil dark wizards. Finally becoming the same group of people they have been hunting their whole lives. Entered Azkaban. Same as the people they arrested before. Become the prisoner of Azkaban. Coming. While everyone was thinking. Samson looked up suddenly. Say something coldly. Everyone looked up. Just see a place not far away. Suddenly 2 old men appeared. But they didn't dare to look down upon it. As an auror. They naturally knew how powerful Dumbledore was. No more about Dumbledore's greatness, 737 just Grindelwald. Sorry, who are you? But being able to stand by Dumbledore's side. They can all guess it too. This man should be Dumbledore's friend. Otherwise, I wouldn't have followed here. After all, Crow led the people to revolt. And what he said. But it can be considered a black spot for the Ministry of Magic and pure-blood families. There was no way Dumbledore couldn't tell the difference. Bring the spectators here. Sorry, we're late. There was a blizzard on the road, which slowed us down a lot. But there's no blizzard here, which is a good thing. Dumbledore smiled and spoke to the aurors. There was no trace of solemnity on his face. There's even a little smile in it. What Crow did he didn't know. He also didn't believe the letters Samson sent him. These aurors. Especially the elite aurors. What truth do you expect from their mouths? That, you can count on that. But hope is not expected. It depends on your identity and status. So he didn't believe the contents of the letters Samson sent him. I don't even believe that Crow is quite the Dark Lord. I want to recreate the glory of the Dark Lord. That's why he had to recruit his subordinates. To overthrow the Ministry of Magic and the pureblood families. The letter even said. Crow took many hostages in the duel competition venue. The Aurors were worried that he would jump over the edge. That's why he didn't force his way in. That's the general content of the letter. But, he didn't believe a word of it. Crow might have done something. But it will definitely not be the same as what these people said. Want to be the Dark Lord. Wants to rule the wizarding world. Want to overthrow magic. I want to overthrow the pureblood family. Of course. Based on what he knew about Crow. The latter two, if they PD him off. It's really possible that Crow would do that. But judging from the current situation. Among the women surrounding Crow. Pansy and Cassandra are both members of pureblood families. Although Malfoy and the others make trouble from time to time. But Crow probably wouldn't think about overthrowing the pureblood family. As for the Ministry of Magic. All he knew was that Crow agreed to Professor Flitwick's request. Help him bring the duel competition back to glory. The others are not clear. But the Ministry of Magic just gave Crow a lot of rewards a few days ago. According to Crow's character. It will take at least a few more months. Only then could he want to overthrow the Ministry of Magic. So to sum up. Contents of Samson's letter. Totally, possibly. But it's unlikely. After all, Crow is a very sensible person. Although he has the same philosophy as Grindelwald. But he sees more clearly than Grindelwald. No, those things don't work. Even if he is really ambitious. And definitely after graduation. BJDC, or after becoming very powerful that day. After all, when I first met Crow. He still looked cautious. Later he became much stronger. Then he gradually let go. It can be seen from this. Crow is a person who will not commit suicide if he has no strength. He understood deeply. After gaining strength. You just squat on top of other people's heads and poop. Others have to praise it for how delicious it is. I have to obediently pass you tissues. Hey, let me guess what that kid is doing again? Is he planning to overthrow the Ministry of Magic, overthrow the pureblood family, and become the new Dark Lord? No, that's not right. I asked him back then, and he has nothing against the Dark Lord. Interest. If you are really interested. He got 2 green onions before, the 2-meter-tall ones, and he wanted to give them to the man named No Nose. Voldemort. Yes, Voldemort's No Nose. He wanted to give them to him. Give the other party, what is it, a friendly gift. Grindelwald rubbed his chin. Looking expectantly at the venue behind the Aurors. As the first-generation Dark Lord. Of course he didn't want to see Crow become the new Dark Lord. Especially since Crow hasn't learned his philosophy yet. Although his thoughts are almost the same as mine. But what if he has some novel ideas? Isn't that just bullshit? Tisk, at that time I said that I wanted to instill my ideas into him, but he still refused. It seems that he has his own thoughts. Why are all the little wizards nowadays so weird? It's not like that at all. 10-year-old little guy. Oh no, it's an 11-year-old little guy. Grindelwald pouted. Some helpless remarks. When he spoke. Although he is asking something. But the Aurors were not given a chance to answer. Not even a look was given to the Aurors. It was as if they couldn't be seen at all. Who are you? Professor Dumbledore, I think you should give us an explanation. What does this man mean by these words? Is he the mastermind behind everything Crow did? Don't do it. That kid knows how to hold a grudge. You said that I was behind his back to instigate him to do things, and then just slapped his and left. I was really made to hold a grudge by him. But don't, I don't have that much ability. You should talk about other people. I probably won't even be able to make it to the grave in this life. Samson had just finished speaking. A strong sense of curiosity detected. I still don't know where to swim in that sewer. Are you kidding me? And Quirrell. Grindelwald quickly waved his hand. Others can still have grave grass. Get reward, diamond treasure box. He refuted Samson's words unceremoniously. That boy is so vindictive. Voldemort is the one who has the most say. Hey, this Dark Lord deserves it. Don't talk about grave grass. These two people. Intense, detected. There is really no future. Grindelwald looked down upon him. Chapter 150. Oh, I don't think Crow would do that kind of thing. Gellert is right. He can't tell Crow to do anything. Of course, I can't tell him to do anything. After all, Crow is a very independent person. Dumbledore smiled and stroked his beard. He paid no attention to Samson's questioning. I even wanted to laugh a little bit. Did you and Grindelwald instruct Crow to do such a thing? Even if they really have this intention, Crow won't listen to them either. This is something you don't even have to think about. Same thing. He made his own decision. Then you can do it. But if you force him to make a decision, then there's no way. Crow doesn't buy it at all. He may even give you a slap in the face with his backhand. This is Crow. A very independent child. Professor Dumbledore, I think you should understand why we asked you to come here this time. But you have disappointed us and brought an unknown person here. It shows that you don't care about this matter. Don't talk nonsense. Didn't I tell you before? Don't talk nonsense. Although my identity is unknown, I have never thought of intervening in this matter. Dumbledore did not take this matter to heart. On the contrary, he valued it very much. Thing. Samson looked at Grindelwald coldly. Veins popped out in the hand holding the wand. Refuted twice in a row. It had made him extremely angry. A normal person might not think this is a big deal. But as an elite Auror, he had already been almost eroded by the 3 unforgivable curses. Little things. It might make him angry. And it was overwhelmingly angry. Even if he knows that this is not possible. But once the erosion of the unforgivable curse begins, it won't stop. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called the 3 unforgivable curses. Unless you are mentally strong enough. Only then can there be a chance to resist erosion. Otherwise, it may only be a matter of time before it is swallowed up. But his mind couldn't resist it at all. And once the 3 unforgivable curses are used, it will never stop. That powerful feeling. Once you get it, you'll be addicted. If you don't use, you will feel a burst of pain. Very, very painful. This is also the most evil part of the 3 unforgivable curses. There are no spells that affect the user's mind. Such as astrological spells. It will make the user gradually become nagging. Occasionally he would be shocked. The mood swings are huge. But compare with astrological spells. The 3 unforgivable curses are too terrifying. One of the most significant points. You will become addicted after using it. Gradually turning you into a puppet of power. An unconscious puppet. I think you shouldn't talk to me like this, at least your senior Aurors don't dare to talk to me like this. After all, you are getting older, and now the juniors are talking to me like this. Albus, I assume you will stop me from doing it. Well, I don't think you need to think about it, I will definitely not let you do it. Don't forget that we are getting better now, you probably don't want to go back to that place. Grindelwald heard this. He shook his head sadly. Patting Samson's tight shoulder. I don't want to go back to that place, so you're lucky, or you're all lucky. If Albus isn't here today, I thought I'd stretch my muscles. As you get older, you always have to move, otherwise your bones will rust easily. Staying in Hogwarts all day is an extremely boring thing. That's why I came here to watch the fun, and take a look at the little guy again. Did something. Grindelwald moved his shoulders a few times. He shook his head sadly. After saying that, he turned around and walked aside. If you can. He wanted to cast Fire Shield. Especially after watching Crow perform it. He missed his magic even more. Although I don't know why Crow's Fire Shield is so powerful. But he didn't think he was any weaker than Crow's cast. At most, it's weak. That's just half of it. If he has the blessing of the Elder Wand, maybe we can narrow this gap to 1/3. This is 1/3. A full third difference. Want to make up for it? 013412119 Phila 17144145 disaster. He believed that his fire shield protection had reached the top level. But even with the bonus of the Elder Wand, it is still so different from what Crow used. This has to be thought-provoking. Fire Shield is not the kind of magic spell that can only be played by someone else. All it takes is simple practice. There is also pure proficiency. No special emotional mobilization is required at all. So the situation is so different. It's very unreasonable. It also shows that Crow has some little secrets. Maybe it's because of the high level of talent. A person who casts magic spells with bonuses. It's not like he hasn't seen it before. Dumbledore is one of them. He himself is also one of them. But with the same bonus. Still so different. That speaks volumes. Merlin's distribution of talents was unfair. It must have been an extra share for Crow. Otherwise it wouldn't be so different. Of course. I prefer the second possibility. Crow also possesses something that can increase the power of the spell. Just like the Elder Wand. This possibility is higher. It's also more reasonable. Otherwise, it can't really be that Merlin's distribution is unfair, right? Sorry Mr. Sampson, Gellert is the professor of defense against the dark arts in our Hogwarts school. He is very powerful and is not an outsider. You can pretend you didn't hear what he said. This guy is like this. Even if he faces fudge, he won't give any face. Let's talk about the situation inside and your plan. Dumbledore smiled apologetically at Sampson. Walk around a few times without leaving any trace. I don't know if it's a coincidence or intentional. Grindelwald's figure. He was firmly blocked behind him. Sampson didn't even see a piece of clothing. It's as if this person doesn't exist at all. Then he wants to be the enemy of the Ministry of Magic and the Wizarding World. But according to their understanding, even if the opponent is his student, a strong murderous intention is detected. Dumbledore would certainly agree. Then Dumbledore won't hold back. As long as this person threatens the safety of the Wizarding World. Our plan is very simple, that is to rush in and kill all these villains. Especially the leader, Crow Wells, is the one who must be killed. Cut off Dumbledore's escape route. Suppressing the rage surging in his heart. He spoke to Dumbledore coldly. Sampson took a few deep breaths. Intense, billion detected. Get reward, diamond treasure box. Don't forget to add a thoughtful addition. We came here this time just to ask you to cooperate with us. In addition, we are not familiar with Crow's strength, so we hope you can help. All this is for the honor of the Wizarding World and the Ministry of Magic. The end. As long as Dumbledore said no. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.